Go. Get some air circulation that way. So, that's it. We war upon your stream. What? I just start and we're just fucking. This is what's happening. We wage war upon your street. Okay. I'm supposed to take your threat seriously there, Harley? Also got my little YouTube set up on my Xbox on the Xbox account, so now I can just do my music playlist on that. It's supposed to be stream. Well, you in what army, dog? You don't have fucking bots and shit that come in and raid. You need to you need to learn the ropes, dude. You coming in like that as a one-man army is sad for any troll. If you're gonna be doing that, you gotta fucking bring in a few homies at least, and then they all have different sock accounts, all that. I mean, come on now, party pooper. I know the art of trolling, and if you're gonna try to wage war on the stream of a raid, then you gotta do it right. You got to do it right. Besides, no one could really do anything to you besides me. Besides I'm alone. You are. You didn't bring a little entourage. I mean, you have Brian in here, but it's like he's separate from this. I mean, when it comes down to this situation, it's between mano and mano. I got nothing to do with it. This is a bystander. Talking to Harley, and you're talking to me too. So, again, you got what you got to do with the trolling game. You got to do it right. Jazzy, what are you doing over there? Did I call you, bud? Oh, no. Hi, Vito. Enjoy your little walk, you little huff and puff boy. Little Vito Potato. He's such a goofball boy. At least now he's chilled out. He's so used to Unk giving him a. We can't even do WALK anymore because Vito actually knows what that fucking means too. So we came up with a new phrase. We just use it as an acronym now. We always love keys. Yeah, we just had to switch it up, to something different. Or we always love kayaking. Because think about it. Take the first letter of all those words. I mean, like we have to figure up a whole new phrase. So at least before the walks, because he goes fucking ape shit if he hears it, especially if I'm around. I'm saying it. And I'm just like, and I'll be talking to Logan sometimes or to somebody else and say WALK, but he'll be all like, walk, 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 and all this other shit. And then he'll get antsy about it. And I think he connected the two. Jasmine, not really. She just kind of stares at me like, you know. But Vito, he gets it now. And it's like, and we had to come up with a new phrase. Luckily, it works. And he doesn't need a walk because he just got back from one. You have for this proof. I love how you lay down and just all this floof from the chest and mane just poofs. Just exemplifies go so poof. So woof. It's all the floof and poof. Yeah, in case I want to look at some of the oh, the side automatically turn off. Nice, lovely. There we go. Oh, switch it. We'll switch that to something different there. There we go. You know, the nice thing about going in between stuff like this is there's fucking ads. Yay. Because that shit was driving me nuts off and on when I was using this damn thing. It worked for the time, but hey, this works too. Actually, it works even better. I was honestly surprised that YouTube wasn't even on the fucking, like, Xbox when I first was gonna experiment with that. But luckily all it did was just take a quick little QR code scan and bada bing, bada boom. Pretty much got myself logged in pretty easily. Now I just need to do that for my EA account. So then it has all my info for that, because for some reason my login credentials for that expired, which is bunk, but whatever. What are you gonna do? Because as soon as I do, I know that because I have pretty much all but like one DLC for Battlefield 1, I can make sure all my shit, all my accounts just downloaded onto that and everything. So then I can see if maybe Logino would play that, because I know he doesn't like COD, but maybe he'd be more into that, because for me personally, it's equally harder but more fun and more easier to deal with, if that makes sense. At least for me. Like, especially Battlefield 1, it gets fucking chaotic, but I think for him it would be not bad because he could just do the sniper role and either have a scope or some irons and then just be at a distance just murking bitches. You know, so... I mean, I could see him actually like rocking it pretty well, but I don't know. Speaking of Battlefield, the Battlefield 6 trailer got revealed. And honestly, which how much of a shit stain COD has been lately, with everything, I am hopefully optimistic. Like, and all they have to do, it's not even that, like, hard. All they have to do is fuck microtransactions, fuck that. If there is going to be cosmetics, at least make it appropriate, you know, make it at least aesthetically in relation to the fucking game. And, like, also, like the class system. Like, if you're going to have, like, a heavy support LMG role, then, yeah, LMGs and heavy machine guns and medium machine guns, like, shit like that should be for that role. Got a sniper role? Yeah, snipers should be, like, exclusive to that role. Shit like that. You should have, like, universal guns, too, you know, and stuff like that as well, but you should have at least, you know, your base, like, role-based weapons. Like, I mean, that's how it has been for most Battlefields. Like, they fucked it up with 2042, and then, you know, like, I don't know. Like, to them, it just seems like it should be a very easy fix, I would think. Or at least a very simple way to at least get a dub. Because this microtransaction shit, like, and all this other shit that COD has been doing is honestly just so fucked. Especially with all this, like, cosmetic bullshit that is just honestly so fucking unappealing and gross and annoying. And frankly, like, they even speculate the whole new American Dad cosmetic garbage is AI based, or at least in parts made with AI. And honestly, I wouldn't be that shocked, because it looks so fucking awful. And I'm not even like, a hardcore COD fan or nothing, but I do like the game and I do think it's fun, at least as a franchise, but it's like, it's just shit. If I was going to play an FPS game, I'd rather go back to one of the older Battlefields or an older Call of Duty, like Battlefield 1, Battlefield 4, or even Battlefield 5, and that's not even that great. But at least it's still held to some of the, mechanics of previous Battlefields, and at least it's still fun. It's just that they kind of fucked it up by kind of tipping their toe into cosmetic shit and Battle Royale and stuff. They were tipping their toe on that, and it's just like, no, what are you doing? And they didn't even really keep developing the fucking game. They didn't even bother going to, like, the Eastern Front or, like, a Normandy DLC or anything like that. They had, like, one, like, European DLC or some shit like that for, like, the British and the fucking Germans. And then they had the Japanese and American DLC with the Pacific. Like, two basically major, like, new campaign, maps and shit, updates and stuff, and new factions. Like, they didn't even bother, like, adding Americans and Germans fighting against each other. They didn't even bother having, like, an Eastern Front with Soviets and Germans fighting each other. They didn't even bother with that shit. Like, what they did with Battlefield 1, at least. I mean, AAA games have just gone to shit. Like, whenever I, like, think about the games I like that are AAA based, it's more about just, like, like, critique more than anything else, because they have gone just straight to shit. I mean, they still have their fun and mechanics and all that other shit, but it's like, when it comes to certain shit, yeah, I'm just avoiding it. Why waste my money? Why waste my time? Especially when, certain shit like that just ain't worth it. No. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, there we go. Cool. Whatever. You have a good stream. See you Sunday or Saturday. All right, man. See how it is. You don't want to, like, pop in and out. And to be fair, like, there's always going to be an all-ball chance he pops back in. I'm like, anyway, politics, blah, 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 or some shit. And he's like, why do I give a fuck about this? No, and just leaves. I wouldn't be too surprised, but that's just kind of out of the nature of how things go around here. I did actually kind of have, like, some things in mind, with some of that, but I'll wait till things kind of start rolling a little bit. It usually takes a minute or two. Well, a minute or two. For YouTube terms, I guess. A minute or two for the algorithm to kind of do its thing. Because I also noticed the algorithm will, like, straight up. There's that bitch. Just, like, it will straight up, like, do it almost in, like, bursts. When it comes to pushing in the algorithm, it's really weird. Depending on, like, active or what, things are going on in, like, a stream at least. I noticed that, like, usually I've kind of pinned it. It's about, like, every 30 minutes or every, like, hour abouts, where there'll be, like, a little boop, a little boost sometimes. There'll be the initial one, but then it'll be, like, a little time after that, usually about 30 minutes, maybe a little sooner, maybe 20, something like that. And then there's, like, another little bump. And then after, maybe about the same amount of time, 30, 20-ish minutes, there's another one. It's kind of weird how, like, recommendation algorithms and shit like that works sometimes. I mean, get the general gist of it, but, like, the broader mechanics of it are definitely kind of a weird mindfuck. It's like, what quantifies, like, certain things for an algorithm to boost certain shit versus not? It's It's very peculiar, to be honest. Huh? What? It went back to the beginning? How? And it also kind of flipped it around. What? Is it doing this? Is it really even going to do this here? Yeah. Well, that's a thing. What's up, Jazzy? All right, girl. Up, 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 girl. Up, up. Oh, you just a big old plop. You just can lump wherever you want. Yes, yes, yes. So cute. You're so cute. You just so cute. You got such a tiny little head. You're a tiny little thing. You're such a big little chunky muscle body. Just so cute. Yeah. You know, here, I'm doing this right real quick. You're right back here in a second. Oh, there we go. Jesus, right. Oh, there we go. Jesus, right. Oh my God. Vito. Hey. What the fuck? Oh my God. Nope, 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 nope. Shush. Shush. No, Vito. Vito. No. No, Vito. 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 No. Stop it. Vito. Knock it off. Vito. Finish. You're done. No. 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 Vito. No. Stop it. Damn, bro. What did I say? What did I say? No. 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 Lay down. Go. Go lay down. Up. Go lay down. You too, Jazzy. Come on. Don't need you over there antagonizing your brother. Come on. Up. Feet out. No. Oh my God. You Vito. Vito. At least Jazzy's behaving. You will behave because you're a good girl. Vito. Get back here. Up. Lay down and stay. He's looking at me. He's like, I'm just trying to defend, please. Or be the friend. I don't know. Are we good? Jesus. Right when I come back, immediately boof. Don't live it, right? I mean, like, ish. If that counts. It's kind of like I'm back and forth, kind of like at this rate. I think I've talked about it before a little bit on stream. At least once, I think. Once or twice. That's a spot. But like the gist of it is like kind of like kind of ish. Like kind of back and forth from my place to here. Though eventually I'm gonna also just get my own place, on my own eventually at this rate too. Just because honestly, like conditions at my house are just not really that great. Just put it lightly, and it's just preferable to just GTFO, especially given like my predicament at the moment. So it's just like better to have a good fresh start altogether versus just going back over there instead. or stayed here. Slash, going back and forth, to and fro kind of shit. I mean, I could kind of go on about the whole fucking thing, but a lot of it really is just going to be being putting the blame on one motherfucker in particular, for the most part. And it's just like, I mean, I don't want to, because that would be a whole fucking thing. Those feet will finally calm down. Jeez. Hold on, Jazzy. Vito, what did I say? No. Get up here. Either Marcus came back, or or the neighbors are just being fucking weird and just doing shit outside. Whatever it is, it's driving Vito nuts. Goddamn. Jeez, Veets. It's time to put in the song, but I don't give a fuck. It's a little too low key for my liking. This feels a little bit more to my liking. Change is good anyway. Yeah. I mean, like, I suppose one of these days I'll have to, like, hit you up one-on-one about it, because I don't know if I've, like, hit you up about some of the, more personal elements about, about everything. Not that, like, I won't tell, like, the story, at least with, on here. I have, but it's just that obviously certain details be left out, but I don't mind sharing all that, if you one-on-one anyway and shit like that. So, not a big deal to me. Known each other a while anyway. Oh, and I don't know if you are happening to go to a potential Chambers game on August 16th, but for a birthday present on my birthday that day, me and my friends are happening to go to the Timbers game. I think it's against, like, North Carolina or something like that. I don't fucking really know much details. But, but my friend Rip City did that as a little present, for me on that. And I'm just like, hell yeah. So I'm thinking, you might not get, like, the same spot as us, but I'm sure you can sneak your way around and find an open seat by us. Or maybe I can ask Rip City about, like, where specifically, like, our area is, and if you want, tag along. Be like, all right. Because, I mean, out of all the sports that I actually like to watch, there's at least 3 that I actually do like watching, while, like, I'm, like, at the stadium watching the game. And that's football, or, soccer. And just because, like, even here in the U.S., crowds go fucking nuts, and you just kind of can't help but get, lost in that a little bit, especially if you get a beer or two in you. And then there's basketball, which I've been to a few Blazers games. I've done pep band with, our high school basketball team and our women's basketball team, going stage, shit like that. And that's always fun as fuck to watch. And then hot take, baseball. I mean, at least when it comes to, like, the big ball games, really. My friends don't like baseball, and they think it's boring as fuck unless you're playing it. But I'm like, I must just be an oddball then. Because, I mean, I generally do like baseball. I'm not, like, knowledgeable about any of the teams, really, or any of that shit, but I just like watching it. So, I mean, the fact that we're getting a baseball stadium is kind of cool, but I just don't like where it's set up. Like, this whole stadium and new baseball thing, like, I like that. I just hate where it's fucking set up. I honestly feel like they could have potentially have, like, found another location that would have, I arguably maybe have been preferable I mean, I would have to look at like the broader like Portland map and the Portland Metro map to gauge it, I guess. But in my opinion, I just don't like where they set it up. Like I guess by the waterfront ain't really the worst spot, but fuck. I mean, I felt like that area could have been developed into more greenery, housing, some other shit that's just better. I don't know. I just don't like where it's set up. I don't like the concept. I just hate where they put it. There's definitely got to be like some fucking, you know, space or plots and shit around Portland or the Portland Metro where it could work. Or even if it's not necessarily like in Portland directly, it could still at least, be, within like the view of the skyline and within like of Portland, like right outside. You know what I mean? Like, maybe if it's technically in like fucking Beaver, not maybe not Beaverton, but like fucking I don't know, like somewhere like Tyre or some shit, like more of a flat land area that's just no one's done with or nothing, and like a shitload of that, like a plot like that, some random shit like that, it wouldn't necessarily technically be Portland, but it could work. I mean, fuck it, skyline's right there with some of the hillside and the Mount Hood right off in that distance. That still look dope. Still get like, I mean, I don't know. I've just always kind of had a gripe about where they just put it. I suppose the main argument is like where elsewhere, like where else would you? And also, I found out like Oregon is doing some fucking stupid. Tina Kotek again being stupid. Is that you're gonna now need fucking kayaking permits to raft a kayak and shit, or paddleboard even, starting January 1st of next year, and I'm just sitting here like fucking what? Like I mean, I'm just like, why? It's like I can get that with like jet skis, jet boats, even like pontoon boats, or like or at the very minimal, you're using flotation device of a vehicle of some sorts for fishing. You have to have two in hands, kind of thing, or whatever. Regardless of that vehicle, whatever the fuck, right? Like, I mean, I can get that shit, but like a kayak, rafting, like a paddleboard, like what? Like, excuse me? Just some homies just hanging out. Like inner tubes and shit like that are strangely excluded. But it's like if you're gonna include shit like paddleboards, rafts, and shit like that, add that too. You might as well include everything. It's like it's just stupid. And frankly, how are they really going to enforce that? What are they going to have like rangers on the waters? Like checking like if we have a permit water pass or something on us. How are they going to enforce this? Because I was reading into it, and honestly, it is a little confusing because apparently, like, if have let's say a few different rafts, and you have friends that you're tagging along with you, one permit can go for those people too. The rafts that you bring and are using, are a part of that permit as well with your friends. But let's say that your family, you have to have a permit for all the rafts individually. Make that make sense. It's just like, what? Wouldn't it be weirdly enough the other way around? Like if you're family and you're having your family on different rafts that you have, like wouldn't that? It doesn't make sense, bro. The way they have it set up is stupid. And I guess it's technically cheap depending on how often you're going to go floating, rafting, or paddleboarding or whatever the fuck. It's like $20 a year, or like $3 for a day pass, or like a week pass or something like that. But it's just like it's still fucking stupid. Like it just honestly just increase like the broader like Oregon state tax to 1% and have that 1% just go funding the shit, and there you go, boom, you have your fucking funding. And even then, you probably wouldn't even need 1%. It'd probably be like more like 0.8 or 0.4, or somewhere around there. You wouldn't need like, really that much of a high tax rate, if especially because the idea is they want to fund like, modernizing some of these boat ramps, so there's also single car parking and single car ramps as well, for like paddleboard and like little raft and kayak ramps too, to expand some of these parks, so they can include that, and a bunch of other shit, and there's a few other things, but that's like their biggest thing they're trying to pitch too, on top of some other stuff too. And it's just like, yeah, that's all good, but can you fund it literally in any other fucking way? Like, it's just stupid. And I don't know if there's a way to like get it appealed or anything. It's already passed. So I mean, it's just so fucking dumb. I don't get it. Like, why? Because me and my homies, we like to do this often. But now, at least for the start of our whole kayaking trip shit, at least 2 for sure homies have to pay 20 fucking bucks a year to cover and really do it often, to really make our bang and our buck out of that for this shit. I mean, it's just so stupid. At least from what it seems like how they have the law set up. I mean, I'll have to look into more detail about what the specifics look like, at least how they enforce it, / like what qualifies, for like, people lending this and that, because they obviously have some caveats, and the bulletin points didn't really clarify 100%. So I have to like look at the bill itself, but it's still, but honestly, from what I could get from the general gist, it's still fucking stupid. They could have done it literally any other way to fund this shit, and honestly, I would have probably absolutely preferred that, and probably would be okay with it. Like, oh yeah, maybe the day permits, for going to the parks has increased a little more. So now instead of it being like $7 or $8, now it's like, $10. Yeah, it kind of sucks, but hey, that's a little bit more, because also those day permits aren't just including people that are going to go floating and rafting and shit, right? That's including people that just go to the parks just to go to the parks. So, I mean, now, like, it's more of, like, everyone's pitching in for the broader funding now, you know what I mean? So at least, even if it's only for a certain amount of years, where it's like, hey, we're increasing it to this amount of dollars, and then reverting back just so we can have funding to cover these projects to invest into these parks. And, maybe make it like an extra $1 or $2 for the parks that are specifically and directly being invested into with these changes. And honestly put bulletins and put it and openly advertise like, yeah, this is where your fucking money's going. Because honestly, people are a lot more into projects and into what, their money is going to when it comes to public funded shit like that. When there's like a big bulletin while the project's in the works of like, yeah, this is what's going on. Here's, the expected date, and here's like the, like idea concepts, bada bing, bada boom, Because honestly, at least, for different projects I've seen around, especially like when it comes to, where I know where my money's going, like the ones that have a bulletin of like, hey, future thing that the city's doing. And it'll show like a little picture and give general details about like, how it's funded and what it is and all this other shit. I'm like, oh, cool. City and our fucking government's doing something nice. Good. But when they're not, I'm just like, because honestly, there are definitely times where I do kind of question where, the money or like who invests or funds these kind of things and shit sometimes. Not with like parks and stuff, but just in general. Because, I mean, especially I feel like how Oregon is when it comes to some of this shit, it's just so fucking dumb. With how, like, we can technically be so progressive, but also just so, I don't even know, like, brain rot lib. Like, honestly, at the same time. And even then, it's just like, it's not even like, like just brain rot libbery. It's just like, it's also like, I don't even know. Like, it's hard to kind of quantify, to be fucking frank. because there's like a few different things that are kind of like a mishmash. I think a lot of it really is just kind of like a weird brain rot, hippy dippy, like, let's all get along kind of fucking flower power, fucking lib shit. I think a lot of it for sure is that because Oregon's kind of known for that, and it's definitely true. Especially when it comes to like old liberal ladies. Like I don't know what it is about old liberal ladies, but they're hardcore like flower power, like get along kind of shit. Some of them could be kind of radical, but most of them are lib as fuck. But a few of them still kind of hold to their like radical hippie days. Not often you find them though. But it's like you got that, but then you have like neoliberal corporate, capitalism too. Nike, Columbus, Inc., like all these, fucking companies that, are based not just in Oregon, but in Portland too. So it's like not just Oregon, but like Portland especially tends to have a lot of this like liberal capitalistic rot. And it really stymies a lot of bullshit and a lot of, progress that, not just the city, but the state could really have. Like, I mean, it's not like we don't, but I mean, we could be having a lot more. That's why I honestly, especially, in another way, detest libs, even especially on a state level, because so many libs in this fucking state, from the state Congress and Senate to the city, as well, in different layers of that, government. Not so much for Milwaukee, but at least for Portland, yeah. And then also just the counties abroad as well. At least especially for Clark County, some of the more rural counties too. Like like Oregon's just this weird mesh and mishmash of just weird kind of levels of political fucked, while also still being relatively good. I I really don't know. Like Oregon, in a way, is kind of an enigma like that. Because if you go I don't fucking like like if you're going to like any cities out like by Snake River or like out by the Gorge or you're going to like Medford or even places like Madras and shit like that. Like you're going to see a major cultural shift in comparison to places like Eugene, Portland, Salem, like Milwaukee or even like the West Coast of Oregon with like, Astoria, Lincoln City and shit like that too. And even then, there's some conservative shit there too, because a lot of those, towns like Rockaway Beach and shit like that are kind of like retirement towns. So there's a lot of old boomer types that go over there for the weather. So, I mean, but not really as bad over there at least. But if, everywhere else though, yeah, you might want to watch your toes. Especially out in the mountains in the Cascades, like there are certain little places where, yeah, there are definitely like some just outright neo-Nazi enclaves. Idaho especially has got them, and usually they tend to lurk over there. But hey, we got our chapters out here too. I actually know for a fact there's at least one for sure that likes to like do some shit and have like a YouTube channel. I think they're like, I forgot what it's called, but I think they're called like PNW Armory or some shit like that. I forgot what they were called, something like that. I know PNW was in the name, but I could just tell just by looking at the guys, in the content. Like the content's just basically like, here's how to survive, in the woods in case of scenario X, Y, or Z, blah blah blah, or whatever the fuck, or like gun maintenance, or how to camouflage your gun with paint and shit like, just random little shit like that. Something like outdoorsman, bro man shit, shit like that, which I'm kind of into, but like I could just kind of tell a little bit, and also just with some of the people that are like in their broader community, I'm like, I just makes me wonder, and like I said, I could just kind of tell because if I remember, one of them has some tats, and one of the tattoos on one of his arm sleeves distinctively looked a little suspect. Not overt, like Nazi shit, but, it looked a little like, a little interesting. It was like some Nordic knot work and stuff, but yeah, I just couldn't quite tell what was in like the center of it because there's just so much detail in the center of the art piece or whatever it was, in the center of the tat. So, I mean, I just couldn't quite notice. So I was like, hmm. Plus, he also had a little bit of like, paint on himself because he was like, it was a video of like, being like, is like, actual like camouflage on you actually genuinely effective, especially when it comes to like certain optics and shit. And I mean, the video is actually informative, but again, it's just one of those things where I'm like, I wonder what about these guys are like, and they're either out of Oregon or Washington. Because if they're from the PNW and they're literally out in the middle of the Cascade Mountains, there's really only two states where that's possible: Washington or Oregon. And Washington, in a weird way, is even worse. Like, there's a lot of far, far, far right shit out there. Like, there's a church, like, actually out of fucking Everett, Washington, not even that far away from Seattle, that's a part of this like new Baptist movement or like this independent Baptist movement, which I don't know if anyone has ever heard of this guy, but I am very well familiar with this motherfucker. Steve Anderson started this. He started this movement after him and his church got like exiled out of his little broader like Baptist congregation, or his chapter at least. So he founded his own independent Baptist shit with a bunch of other independent, Baptist churches around the U.S. And also, shockingly enough, in the Philippines, they have one in South Africa, and then like three in Australia, and I think two of them are in like one province, and one is in another. And I'm just like, what? When I looked into their movement and what this organization is, or at least what this church is attached to, like, which I'll get to this church here in a sec, but just to kind of show how much of an influence they have, like, they got multiple churches in Australia, the Philippines, and at least one in South Africa, and I think they got a couple in another country or two. And it's just like, and they got at least like over 50 here in the U.S. alone. And I think they have one in Oregon, I don't know where, probably Medford, somewhere like that. And then they got at least like two in Washington, and then a shitload everywhere else dotted through the country. Oh, now I think about it, I think the other one is Canada, because I know there's one in Vancouver, BC. So Canada would be another one. So I think, so yeah, they got a few in Canada, Philippines, Australia, and yeah, weirdly enough, one in South Africa. How that happened, I don't fucking know. But they got one out there too. But this church, at least this one I'm talking about in Everett, Washington, like, these guys, like, are straight up like, yo, and they are unironically like this. We need to like kill the. Well, I guess maybe I shouldn't just say it, just for YouTube's sake. I mean, normally I wouldn't care, but I mean, he goes on to. I guess now there's enough time, maybe, but like the dude literally goes on to say faggots and shit because they're sodomites, and and it says in the Bible they ought to be stoned, blah blah blah, and all this other shit. Just wild, wild shit. And it's like this dude is not that far away from Seattle, out in Everett. And Everett ain't really that much of a known to be great by any metrics. But it's just like, I mean, dude's got a congregation and all this other shit. And actually, the only reason why I know about it is because there's another YouTuber, Dead Domain, who actually infiltrated this church just to kind of get an understanding about what the fuck they're about. And got eventually kicked out, but still keeps tabs on them now. And I'm just like, Jesus, like, this shit's fucking kind of nuts. It's still very much a thing. It didn't seem that, like, Mehdi Hassan versus, like, basically 20 Nazis. Like, that, like, I mean, I kind of keep seeing a little bits of tips and clips of shit from it, but, I mean, the one thing that I just can't get out of my head is that one guy who was a Christo, or I guess Caflo fascist, who just like laughed like fucking Tucker Carlson, being like, Mehdi saw saying, "So you call yourself fascist?" Yeah, I guess I am. And, dude, that shit was freaky disturbing. I was like, this guy unironically probably literally looks up to Tucker Carlson, like, oh my god. And also, apparently, supposedly, that same fucker got fired after that Jubilee event. Found out bullshit. I actually was looking a little bit more into it because some people were speculating that was bullshit anyway, because it was a grift. And it absolutely fucking was. He was grifting it because he got fired from his job months before that Jubilee happens, like at all. Like, and that includes before it even got uploaded. So the dude was lying from the very fucking start. He didn't just get fired after it got released. He got fired months before even that got fucking recorded. And, like, he just decided to make a whole grift off of it and raise, who knows how much fucking money, with other fellow Nazis. And now he's got himself a nice little gig. So he's going to be sitting pretty on a nice bag of fucking cash over this shit. Because of Jubilee, honestly. And I used to kind of like Jubilee, and back when we were doing Streamlab, like, react shit, I would actually watch their content. But, fuck them at this point. Because, like, they're kind of normalizing this fucking shit and allowing them to just, like, grift and profit off of this shit. Like, you're making this Jubilee, like, you're making them better. You're making them, like, look good and normalizing their fucking behavior. And, and I'm not much of a cancel culture kind of guy when it comes to the woke bullshit, whatever the fuck. And I don't even give a fuck, whether or not, it's like woke or not and this and that and all this shit. But when it comes to some cancel culture I'm absolutely okay with, yeah, Nazis, yeah, they need not apply. Get the fuck out. They shouldn't be raising money. They shouldn't be able to, like, fucking have that type of fucking influence. In a society that is especially ought to be a free expressive democracy, when your expression is trying to squash and, fucking put the boots on somebody else's expression and their autonomy and their fucking human rights and shit, it makes me wonder whether, like, you're starting to, like, be rational or not, at that point. And whether, like, ought to, maybe have a consequence or two for that fucking behavior. I was actually watching, like, like Hassan's reaction to the full fucking thing. And it was after actually that, I mean, not the whole thing, but I got maybe about a third way through it, surprisingly. And, because it's just fucking bad. But, at least, like, with, after that guy, Hassan was actually kind of critiquing Mehdi a little bit. And honestly, I agree with him. Where it's like, he's kind of a little too lib with his argument. Or his arguments. It's like his first, prompt that he wanted to give, these conservatives and shit, or, well, these fucking Nazis, let's be honest. Like, was Trump is pro-criminal and is a criminal, basically. He is a criminal himself and is for crime. That was the main prompt. And it's like, why not? We should arrest the fascists, and the actions that the partisans did against the Nazis in World War II should probably maybe be acceptable actions, in modern terms for the Nazis of today. Let that be a fucking prompt, and let them bake a noodle around that shit. And you know what? Based, because you know what, we're kind of at a time where maybe that is a little bit of an acceptable question to be debated. I had that answer a long time ago in my fucking head, but at least when it comes to the broader question, I think it ought to be debated within reason, of course. Because obviously, given the circumstances, I mean, it's kind of serious when there are a lot of young people out there that are genuinely very fucking Nazi as fuck when it comes to this new modern fascist movement. It's kind of freaky. And honestly, like, another thing I was kind of thinking in my head a little bit was about, like, how it's starting to seem like there's a few Dems that are starting to grow some balls. And weirdly enough, I have, like, some Dems that didn't even really think it would, like, come from, honestly. One of them I expect, Al Green. Like, he went on a fat fucker rant based on me, like, Netanyahu, fucking, Trump, I charge y'all with genocide, blah, blah, blah. Like, calling out the genocide against, the Palestinians and shit. And I'm just like, holy fuck. Like, his rant was fucking great. And he was also the one that the Democrats decided to censor, as well, not that long ago. So, I mean, I'm starting to wonder maybe he should run for president. Because maybe he could be our rising Bernie. He is old, too, to be honest. But he's a firebrand, though. And honestly, if we're going to have someone who's starting to become a rising national figure, and the DNC especially is trying to shut him down, like they tried with censoring him and shit, Why not gamble it, bro? You know, I'd say that's Al Green. Why not take the gamble? Wait for the midterms to wrap up and shit. If you gotta like run again if you need to for that, do it. But after that, fucking run for president. I'd say honestly, like if I was like a staffer or an advisor of him, I'd say make that gamble. You're gonna have to wait a minute, but make the gamble, bro. I think he would go far and wide. I think he'd be pretty successful because, like, I mean, like another one that who I don't like, but also I'm kind of surprised by is by Gavin Newsom and Beto O'Rourke too, and a few others like Elon Omar Rashid Tlaib, who I actually do like at least. Like there's a few others who are actually starting to kind of play ball with this whole idea of like, you know what, when the Republicans go low, we go lower, and because of like different local state Democrats in like Texas are, like kind of raising the alarm bells about how like Greg Abbott and Trump, are going to try to rig the elections, at least in Texas for sure, but probably throughout the national level, you know, especially with gerrymandering. They're kind of raising the alarm bell of like, you know what, we got to kind of start playing hardball and start playing lower, especially in the states that Democrats have power in, because I mean, if they're playing this game, might as well, right? And in my mind, I'm thinking about fucking time y'all started thinking like that. It's going to take a lot more for them to gain respect for me being corporate Dems for the most part. Not all of them are, but at least for the bigger names like Newsom and Beto O'Rourke are agreeing and advocating for some of this too a little bit. I'm just like, yeah, the progressives in the left and people like me who are more radical on the left and shit have been telling you that for a long fucking time. And now you finally agree? Let's just hope it ain't too little too late. Let's just hope that. Because that's what I'm saying. Why, even for Al Green, right? Why not take the gamble? Because at this rate, what does the Democrats and broadly the left got much to lose at this point? I mean, if the idea is that like Trump's gonna, make elections null and void and not be a thing, and fashion's gonna be a complete takeover, then as I say in football terms, then get a fucking Hail Mary in there to get that last score and get 1 point in there and at least squeak it out, right? If you're gonna try to fucking at least do something, make a Hail Mary and just say fuck it. Get your best fucking, at this point, progressive left side of your, party players out there and get those motherfuckers deep in there and see what sticks. Because if not, oh shit. Can I even say the name of the song after that rant? Well, Bob Villain will. He'll, maybe tell. Yeah, he'll tell the story. Thank you, BBC, for let me know about Bob Villain. I love the Streisand effect. That's a big flop. A big flop flop. Ugh. 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 Oh my god, you're so ridiculous. What do I even. What is this? You're such a goof. Jazzy up here? Jazzy up? Jazzy up? Up here? Jazzy up? Jazzy up? Jazzy up. You lazy bean. Little chunk. I like shit in it. She's just kind of like, all right, I'm just kind of here, plopped, blump, blump, blump. Ugh. Jazzy, you're such a goof. At least you're wagging her tail. Goof girl. Ugh, ah, why are you kicking me? What are you doing? Are you go-lumping and kicking and squirming? You little seal dog? Ugh. Man, what a goofy little girl. No. I'm not saying much, but let's look at this. Damn it, Vito. Oh! Look at that face. Oh my god. Beater, damn it. The way his face was on that little thing right there was just like a little too much. I was just like, god damn, bro. Oh. I moved over here. He's just like, it's like, quit talking about me. Look at those crazy little round eyeballs of his. Those are just like such weirdly human eyes, but they're just like so big and round. They almost like pop out of his eyeballs sometimes. It's like, damn. Big little floof boy. Big little sweet floof boy. Oh, little Jeezy. You got the most cutest little eyes. You're just so adorable. Oh, you're so cute. That's the most just sweetest and cutest little thing. Just so adorable. Vito's enjoying the pile of pillows that are over there. Because in your little cage, you kind of ripped the shreds out of your little beds that were in there. Which is kind of sad because not even that long ago, we just put like new beds in there. You know, so when none of us are here, they have, you know, at least they're in the cage, you know, chilling and at least something comfortable. And probably just because it's Vito being an anxious little sad boy, he just rips it all to shreds. And then there's just a pile of floof. Just in and around the fucking cage. Just like, damn, bro. Like, I think honestly what just needs to be is just like legit just a bunch of dog blankets just there, you know? I don't know, you know? It's like, I think that's what this needs to be. Because they're just gonna shred the dog padding, you know, like, I mean, so that's what they kind of need, I guess. I don't know, like, because Beater, he just destroys those things. But then there's like a weird little pile of it, just, just in little like clumps in different little corners where they're just like laying their little bodies and everything. It's just like, damn. Beater, little Beater, you're so cute, but you're so crazy. Oh, God damn it. Come on. And when I was with my little boy today, like, he was just like straight up being another day of just a little lazy bean. But not just his typical lazy bean. He was just like squirming around, stretching everything. Like his usual little stretches going and all his little groans and moans. And I'm just like, oh my God, what are you doing? You lazy little shit. You little turd. You lazy bean. And I found some like cans of this like high protein like like wet dog food that Logan has. I grabbed one of the cans, but I didn't grab the other one. There's only two of them. And I was like, thinking, I might save the other half and then, give it to Zugoff another day, for the next day. But like honestly, surprisingly for what it was, there wasn't really that much in there for like, the serving. So I just put the whole thing in there with a little kibble on the bottom, put that on there, a little kibble on top, put a tiny little drizzle of olive oil on there because I have a big old jug of olive oil at home. And then he ate fucking everything. Like he cleaned that bowl down to like nothing. I was just like, damn. Like, I mean, I didn't think it would be a hungry boy, but he was a hungry boy. I mean, to be fair, he does kind of vacuum up any food that is around him. It's very rare for him to be like, nah, I'm not hungry. I've seen these two be like, I'm not hungry, but Zukov's kind of the opposite. Ooh, that felt good. Ooh, nice. Aw. Both of them are just cuddle up over there by the door. I don't know what they're over there for. There's nothing really there for them. I'm not letting them out again. They already had their walk. And I had an extra long one too, because surprisingly, I actually met a friend I haven't seen in a while. She happened to be picking up a friend of hers, that was just up the road, and ended up just talking a little bit right at the end of the walk. I wouldn't have noticed it if it wasn't for me just hearing like this random noise that I honestly thought was from a child. I was like, huh? I looked over this way, but the noise was coming from this way, from my walking direction, and I just heard my name loudly, and I just put my earbud out and look over, and I just saw her car there. I was like, oh. And honestly, I thought she was there to maybe just kind of, check on the triplets or whatever, and I was like, no, apparently not. In fact, she hasn't even really heard from any of us in a while, which, I haven't really talked to her much lately, and apparently none of the other two have. So I'm just like, huh, all right. She's even kind of question about if there's even much of a reason to in Portland anymore, just because like apparently there's just been like some other bullshit, which I'm kind of glad I haven't been around. Mostly at like some other mutuals that we all know. I'm just like, oh my god, I'm kind of glad I'm not in that fucking circle now at this point. Because for a minute there, there were kind of a few little moments where we were all kind of like in this a little extra like crusty crust punk circle where it's just a little way too much. Let's just put it that way. Way too fucking much. Now, at least it seems like she's on the same page too, because at least for one of my friends, Logan, she he kind of lumps her in with that too a little bit. And I'm just like, well, I caught up with her, and seems like honestly she's just trying to kind of have excuses to stay away from that shit at this point. And you know what? I don't fucking blame her. But who knows? Fucking Vito! Oh my god! Here we go again. Hey! Shh! Hey! No! Vito! No! Shh! Shush! There's literally nothing out there. Marcus ain't here. No, yeah, so you shut the fuck up. Lay down. Lay down. Up. Lay down. Damn. Ugh, Jesus. Why, bro? Why you do that? Jazzy, get over here. Your brother's answering because you're over there, anticipating something. Come on. Jazzy. Come on, up. You're laying on my jacket. What? Whatever. Whatever. She's on the jacket. Fuck it. If anything, she'll just warm up. Might be a little too nippy and chilled. No, not this weather. Probably not. That's just gonna have a little jazzy scent. Goofy girl. I have to like eyeball him now every now and then. As long as he maintains being a good boy, I may or may not give him a treat. But it's like a 3 strikes is out. At least until Lugano comes back. That just depends on his behavior. Man, it's quite as fuck. It's quite as fuck on tonight. It's kind of odd because there has been like a little off and on, like a little people popping in and out, but it's just like, damn. Not much activity on the chat side of things. Actually, kind of surprising. Usually, at least a little bit. It's a little something cooking in them coals, but coals are kind of down, cold being a little burnt down to what? Just burnt down out, not all cold. Coal gone cold. Because at this rate, my only entertainment is looking at these dogs. And then just roughhousing with them, kind of ish. No. Jazzy over here just being a little snuggle ball, though. He was being cute. You know, is there a way to have this keep playing while I kind of skim? Ah! It's like, here's what you were watching from earlier, and it has like that fucking Jubilee shit I was talking about from earlier. Oh my god. I'm not gonna dare. I ain't doing that, no. Okay, it's mostly just music. Pretty much, just because like it's on a music playlist. Okay. Well, I wish there was a way for me to like kind of explore more outside of just music. You know, when it comes to that, because it's like, damn. Wait, what if I play that? Yeah, maybe that'll kind of switch the algorithm a little bit. Because it's just, and basically not much else outside of, yeah, more music. All quiet, the rest of original version, really? From fucking 1930? Why? But that's literally it. After that, it's just music. It's like, here, music, since that's what you're listening to. I guess the TV version of YouTube's algorithm is a little bit more accurate to what you're at least fucking on, I guess, depending on what you're listening to or watching. I suppose that's not. Why can't that algorithm be like the rest of the YouTube algorithm? Because I listen to music, but then I'll like, all right, I'm not really feeling this quite much now. Let me switch to some music. You know, I'll just go from the immediate like search or whatever the fuck, and like 90% of it isn't music. I'm just like, what? I mean, there's other options for me to narrow it down and make it easier, but it's like, huh? I mean, you would think it would actually, you know, like I kind of used to the algorithm being like that. That's why I'm actually a little surprised it's pretty much just mostly music, besides like really just three options. The only other one was like the documentary The Decline of Human Civilization, which actually I've seen that documentary like 7, 8 something years ago. It's been a long time, but now I'm just like, fuck. I did see it there and it's free on YouTube. I'm just like, fuck, I might actually want to watch that. Not now, obviously, but in the future time. Yeah, pretty much dead. You really don't care that much, do you? She's kind of like, I'm just kind of here now, I guess. I'll just wait until I'm free. Yeah. She just kind of sits there. Eventually, she'll squirm. She'll be like, "All right, I've been here too long." But I mean, she usually is kind of like a nice little dog, though, for the most part. Though all three of them, outside of Jazzy, are like little squirm balls. Jazzy's the least out of them. Zukov's kind of in the middle. But even then, like, unless I'm catching him on like a good nap where he's like tired or just being exceptionally lazy, and I'm in just the right position, like hold on to him or something, then like, all right, yeah. Like eventually, like usually 10 minutes, he'll like, get me the fuck out of here. Vito's like within the first minute, and that's being generous. I'm like, he would just be like, oh fuck no, get me out. In a weird way, though, he loves it. Like, because he's just like, I'm being loved. And his legs are just out, just spread for his jewels for the world to see. And it's like, goddamn, bro. I don't trust you two over there. Hey, come on. I don't trust you two over there. Oh, Jazzy, you too. Jazzy, you too. You think you're excluded in this? Equal whites include equal fights, all right? Yeah, that's right. He's like, oh shit. You just made it easier for me to latch you up right on. Oh, big old floof machine. A big old gigantic floof machine. It's such a squirm ball. Goodness gracious. Oh, Lotto Vito. Lotto Crazy Vito. That's a little better. A little bit. Not by a lot, but well. A little beater. A goober. Oh, no, now it's in play mode. You want it? He's like, oh, you just took it from me. Get it. Oh, he just punched me. Now Jazzy wants in on it. Oh, God, here we go. Jesus, Jazzy, your tail. Oh, God, I'm going to have to move shit. Get Jazzy. Get Jazzy. Get Jazzy. Come on. Fight Jazzy. Yeah, get Jazzy. Come on, Vito. Be a man. Be a man, Vito. Be a man. Oh, Jesus Christ! Don't ruin my manhood. He was so close to my jewels. Come on, Jazzy. Come on. Get it, Jazzy. Get it, Jazzy. Hot Jazzy. Get it, Jazzy. Get it, Jazzy. Honey, Jazzy. Oh, shit. Good Jazzy. Somehow Jazzy got it out of Vito. Oh, not find it. Oh, now the tug of war in it. Oh, shit. Good Vito. You got it, Vito. Get him, Jazzy. Get it. Get it, Jazzy. Girl. Oh, my God. This is fucking cute. Vito, you just gave it up. You just gave it to her. Oh, Jazzy, good girl. You just gave it to me. Aww. That deserves a treat. Oh, Vito, that fucking goober face. Hold on. All right, you want to see a goober? This is a goober. Hey. And a little Jazzy just being a little princess. Licking her lips like a little warrior. And a little Vito like, I'm a derp. Please give it to me. I just love toys. I'm a derp. Oh my God. He's just such a derpy boy. Oh, shit. Oh, fuck. Ow. Oh, they got my arm. Oh, shit, Jazzy. Damn, girl. That Vito's all about. I know, he's such a derpy boy. Come on. Go get. Ooh. I don't even. Yeah, you can see a little bit of some marks. Yeah, they got me a little bit. Not enough to, like, fuck me up, but enough to get me, though. Oh, my goodness. Do I do the mango or the juicy? Or the big juicy? Or do I do just a regular? You just let Jazzy have it. You are such a weak bitch. Jazzy's more of a man than you are, and that's saying something. She lost her ovaries, and somehow she got bigger balls than you. Even Zukov does, because he steals your food, and you growl and look at fucking Dad, and you're like, Dad, please, take him away from my food, and you do nothing. He literally would just stare at Zukov, like, the times that he is over here. He would just stare at him while he's eating out of the food bowl, and he would get mad and be like, oh. But he won't do nothing about it. And he would just stare at Dad or me, being like, Unc, Dad, why? And I'm just like, hey, like, fuck you. Why do you not care when your sister is eating out of the bowl with you? But as soon as Zukov does it, suddenly now you're all like butthurt and offended, like your just life soul just got insulted, like your bloodline itself was insulted because your brother ate you the food. It's like, damn, bro. They are really some goobers. I'm so glad that, me and Logan especially, because, I mean, it's like both of us are unks to our dogs. Like, I'm unk to these two, and he's unk to my dog. And like, we're all little dog dads of the same, parents, just two different litters, but my dog is just a younger bro. And I mean, my only thing is just like, I kind of wish it wasn't for my predicament this past, well, really to be fucking honest, this past fucking year. Of just being such a dramatic shift and a dramatic change of various different fucking things that I just have to do, but and also where to be and everything else, yada yada. And it's just like, fuck, like I mean, my only major regret is like not really doing so well with Zukov ahead of time, I suppose. Like, so could just always be here no matter what, a day or two, back and forth over here. At least he's always here because he's got his little brother and sister and shit. So older brother and sister. So I mean, ultimately, and I know how they work and hang out with each other and stuff. My own thing is that Zukov, even with her being spayed, is sometimes still try to hump her occasionally. Not often. But and actually, I don't think he's done that in a long fucking while anyway. But like last time they've hung out and shit, at least the last few times. But I remember there were a few times where he did, and I'm just like, Zukov, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you horny? Like, I don't know what it is about him. He's like, weirdly like Glenn Quagmire if he's like Bill Clinton and Glenn Quagmire somehow morphed as a dog and like were one entity. You know what I mean? Like I don't know what it is about Zukov, but I mean, in comparison to these two, I don't know what it is, but he's straight up horny boy. Even when like he's excited to meet new people, yeah, the lipstick or sometimes just straight up an ICBM fucking missile is just ready to go, ready for launch, and it's like, what the fuck, Zukov? Like, homie, calm down. You're just saying hi to new friends. Thank God he does nothing with it, but still, it's just like, fuck. And thank God no one cares usually. They're just like, oh, he's just very excited, is all. Like, luckily no one cares. And I'm just like, thank God. Because I don't know what it is about Zukov. He goes the extra level, bro. Because it's very rare, but, Vito, he will get a little excited and there will be a little bit of a lipstick situation. But not like Zukov where it's like an ICBM missile. It's not just like a little lipstick. It's like, yeah, I'm like kind of full hard inside, but like, now it's not just a little lipstick. It's like, there's a little more sticking out now. And it's because oh my God, I don't even want to explain it. You get the idea, oh my, it's just like the Zukov line, bro. And the problem is, he's such like a narrow bodied, like, it's not like a skinny boy, but he's like, very lean. So when he like stands up or like sits and everything, like his body, like especially with his chest and his belly, it's just like it just is there. It just sticks out. It's just like, bro. I'm not talking about you, Vito. He gave me a look like, you better not talk about bitch. He gave me this little look. I'm talking about your brother. You should be happy I'm talking shit about him. Well, maybe not, because comparison to Vito, from what I can understand, he's way more endowed. I don't even understand. He's smaller than Vito. And somehow everything down there's bigger. It's like, what fucking genetics happened? What is with him? I love him. I love him with all my heart, but oh my God, bro. There's something about that dog. There's something about that boy. Where in his brain, he's just like, I'm very friendly and I love everybody, but can I fuck you a little? I love you. It's like, I don't get it. I mean, luckily he's not like humpy about people, but when it comes to other dogs, that's when he gets humpy. And if other people have a lot of dogs around them and the dog's scents are on them, oh, he goes Lake Humpy. I mean, I don't know what it is. I'm just so happy that he's at least so friendly about it and not like aggressive. Because when Jazzy wasn't spayed, Logan hates me bringing this up. Vito would be going fucking ape shit. Why? She was in heat, and they're twins, brother and sister, same litter. You can imagine what happened when he found out that Jazzy got pregnant by no other means besides, well, this guy over here. He hates me bringing that up, but unfortunately, that is why she's spayed. He was thinking about maybe like letting her develop a little more. So he was like, "Oh hell no! Now I'm just doing it now." Like after that, abortion, doggy abortion, and spade. No, like hell no. And now she's just somehow more of a man than Vito is. And also, she used to be such a small little thing. Now she's a chunk. I never called her chunk. It was only like in the last like year or two where she's been chunk because she developed into just this chunk. She used to be just straight up a fat chunk for a minute. She used to be way thicker. Now she's like muscle chunk with tiny little legs and a tiny little head. It's just so cute. She's the most cutest little fucking thing in the world, dude. As Unk, I would kill to make sure that dog, is protected. I joke about taking her from or taking her from Logan, but honestly, it's just like I'm just Unk. If I were to do that, it would be because I'm like at the new pad and I'm like, hey, you know what? We're so close by. I'm just gonna bring him to my pad for the day, and you're off work. We pick him up, drop. We hang out at your pad a little bit, and I just I don't know, walk back, bike back, something like that. He drops me off, some shit like that. What are you doing? You're just licking and eating out this what looks like a beanie of a toy that used to be a dog toy, but no longer is, but is the remnants of what is the head of that thing. These dogs scalped a beanie and the head off, well, the hair on the top of the head of some toy and probably just slaughtered the rest of it. Jesus. Brutal. And Jesse's just licking the crusties off. It's like, yes, I'm having a taste of the flesh when I scalp this off this beast. Goofy little girl. Oh, we're back to the beginning again. I noticed that is a pattern here that I'm not exactly approving of. Shuffle, bitch. That's not really what I meant by shuffle, but fuck you very much. What the fucking wow? You really threw the ball into a whole different thing. God damn. Fucking. I'm noticing the similar problems from how YouTube was on the TV previously, but now this is just a fucking app on the on my Xbox. Well, not mine, but at least on my account. It's like, god damn it. Hey, at least I can use my playlist on my account while I'm doing this on my account. Bada boom boom boom. I like it. I actually, keep forgetting that I have this second channel that was way back when the MLG meme shit, and also way back in the early OG old school Kyle Kalinske days. Big Seltzer, shit like that, lesbian soccer mom coach, all the memes, old school memes. The kids wouldn't know these days. In fact, honestly, it seems like the memes have been long forgotten to the age, of the oldies and the old school like us. But I mean, like, I made an account that literally was kind of in tandem with that, and the profile picture honestly is so fucking hilarious. I'm probably gonna keep it just because honestly, it's a lost file now. Honestly, I'm pretty sure. I don't know where I made it originally. So at least I'll have like I'll just keep the PFP just for that, and then just rename it to something different. Used to watch Kyle and Mike and Sauna stream. Well, like I've mentioned it to Rose. I need to get a Bluetooth because I can. I mean, honestly, I suppose I could do it here. I would just have to change the format to where maybe I would have to like have my camera like where it's showing me and the TV. Like maybe have like, and it would be in reverse, but like at least I can. I mean, I guess we could try it out. I would keep it in this format at least for now, but maybe if it's preferable for the other format, then honestly I'll just wait until I get another Bluetooth speaker. I know Harley has a small one. Maybe I can ask if I can borrow it. When he's not, like the days he's working and he's not having a speaker or anything like that. It's like, hey, it's all right if I borrow one. I'll keep it charged. I'll just have it over here in the corner, and obviously whenever you want it or need it, there you go. But chances are you're going to be at work when I'm going to want it, so might as well just let me lend it and I'll just have it over here, on this table. And when you're off work, just pick it up. Or I'll just like, put it somewhere else, or some shit like that, like I think maybe I could compromise with him at least in the meantime until I get my own one. Did you give up on SIM card moving to the other phone? I'm on my other phone. I've been on it, for a while. I just need Bluetooth speakers so I can test everything and see if it all works out, and then go from there. You know what I mean? With Streamlabs shit, I have Streamlabs on this phone, and everything that I needed and wanted to do, like for how I did those streams, I could do on here. So it's a little different how to do it, but it's still there. So I just need to, just try it, see what happens. But the Bluetooth speaker, in order to use that to react to shit, we kind of need that, right? We want to make sure we get all the bells and whistles figured out before we just start doing that. So, and honestly, that's just because of money factors, but, fingers crossed, that should be changing here. And I feel like I keep saying that literally every stream, but it's like because it pretty much has been. But there's just been some bullshit, this past earlier week, with phone bill stuff and a few other things where it's figured out now. But I'm just like, I'm really hoping it did not fuck me over with dealing with, certain job opportunities where I know that are needed, because I'm like, I just realized what date it was. So I'm just like, oh my fucking God. I'm just like, yeah, I need to like, rapid fire, like, be like, yo, fucking actually be kind of aggressive about certain shit. And even my friend Logan was kind of giving me a green light, being like, yo, if it's like too late for you and stuff, they just like send me upstairs and, just do my own thing up there and blah, blah, blah. If it matters that much. I'm like, yeah, kind of does. And I'm like, hey, you know what? That's actually not a bad thing, because I'll give you, like, hey, let's wrap this game up, and then, maybe I'll watch an episode, and then on another day, or whatever the fuck, use the episode to like wind down, and then you go up, and I start winding to bed, something like that, for like Picard or some other show that we want to watch, some shit like that. Or maybe just pull up something that's like a throwaway show to kind of have in the background while we kind of like chill a little bit, like for the last like 20 minutes, and then, whatever the fuck, shit like that. Because, honestly, even Logan kind of agrees, like, we kind of stay up a little too late chilling stuff, and it's like, because he doesn't feel too great about waking up late, not getting as much shit done that he needs to get done, too, and I'm like, kind of the same way. Today was a little different, it was naturally, pretty decent little day for me. But I mean, ultimately, it's like tomorrow needs to be better. I mean, mostly just because, like, now that I got, some other shit figured out, now I can at least get main focus back on track, and now hope, like, this week was supposed to, hope that the next week, is the fucking, make or breaker, I guess, right? Because it's getting fucking ridiculous for me, I'll just say that much. I feel like we already listened to that not that long ago. Yeah, we kind of did. Yeah, we're feeling like some Gohane. Dude, bro. Otherwise, no, that's brood. I didn't even know what really to think. I was like, got the backwards cap. It's in a shirt. Punk shirt, at least. I was like, fuck it. Just dude, bro, I guess. I guess algorithm wise, didn't really help me that much. Squirrels and deer are starting to become carnivores. I don't think this bodes well. Squirrels have always known to been opportunistic carnivores. You didn't know that? Same with deer. You never knew that? Like honestly, there are times where if there's an a ground bird's nest of eggs, deer will go for that. Same with like little small rodents and birds and shit like that too. If they happen to grab one, they will eat it. Same with squirrels too. In fact, honestly, it's known that sometimes squirrels will cannibalize like young too, like male squirrels, in competition for the offspring that they bred. They'll like go to other nests and shit. Like it's not really like I mean, most herbivores, on the contrary, aren't strict herbivores. They are like sometimes opportunistic carnivores, but they prefer nuts, so probably only desperate. Yeah, like I mean, obviously, if they're going to go for the food that they prefer, and there's access to that and plenty access to it, well, yeah, they're just going to go for that. But if they're in a pinch, yeah, they'll go for it. I mean, it's not really common, but it is heard of. It's like a very uncommon thing that happens, but it is something that on video. But I know there are like plenty of herbivores that can be opportunistic, carnivores. Like I found out the golden possum in Australia, which is one of the 23 different species of possums in Australia. Not opossums like here in North America, but like just they're possums. They are predominantly like very cute and snuggly looking, but a little mean. Like, and also they can straight up like fuck you up. Like they can take your finger off and shit like that. Like they're basically like got the cuteness of a possum, but like the sinister meanness of a raccoon. If you want to fuck with them, And the thing is, they usually won't. But like in a pinch and in times in self defense and shit. Oh yeah. And also they've been seen to like despite being herbivores and going after mostly like leaves, berries, fruits, and other shit like that. Like they will find a carcass, and sometimes just scavenge off of that too. There's even pictures, at least with that, and they're known to be herbivores, but yet, at times will be opportunistic carnivores, which kind of shows that like a lot of life, is in a way somewhat, kind of even in the carnivore herbivore spectrum, kind of omnivorous, in a way. Like we're omnivores as a species, despite how people's particular choices with their health diets may be. Like as a species, we're omnivores. I think honestly the fact that sometimes people do carnivore diets or like vegan diets, all this shit just proves that, right? But like either way, it's just like one of those things where honestly, it's kind of the same for other species too. If they're predominantly herbivores, yeah, they might, be opportunistic and go after fucking, meat if it happens to be accessible and they need to eat. And then they got like animals that are predominantly, maybe predatory like carnivores, like bears, but are actually generally known as omnivores. But in a pinch, we'll go after berries and other stuff, and especially if they're like up a river and they're like, I haven't caught salmon yet. Berries, nom nom. I like some berries, like and honey too. The traditional meme with like like with bear and honey, like bears love going after honey because it's such a rich source of vitamins, proteins, stuff like that for a bear especially, and they got such thick coats and skin that getting stung by a bee ain't going to be a big deal unless it hits them in the nose, basically, or they're like little paw pads. But beyond that, like a bear's going to go after that homie. I thought Hulk Hogan dying today was a joke at first. Oh no, it's not. Honestly, I would say we're losing so many greats because of Ozzy, but and a few others. We also lost Greg fucking what's his name? A jazz artist. I forgot his fucking name, but we lost him too today. And like, dude, honestly, a lot of the greats have been going. And I would include Hulk Hogan in that if he wasn't such a trumper and a fucking weird, just controversial kind of shitbag, to be honest. I mean, frankly, low-key, kind of fuck that guy. I mean, yeah, I kind of get the whole childhood, shit about like how people feel, and I kind of do too. To be fair, though, yeah, brother, and all that shit. I get it. There's memes and stuff around it. I understand, but like, I mean, you just kind of have to like, realize who this guy was personally and know that he just was not a fucking good dude. He just wasn't. And also, Jesse Ventura, I think, especially, for anyone who's a pro union leftist type, says it best. You know, I got fired because of him because I was trying to start a union and he called him up and got me fired. Jesse Ventura. Jesse Ventura got fired, from wrestling shit because, Hulk Hogan snitched and ratted him out to Vince McMahon because Jesse Ventura wanted to start a wrestling workers union for the wrestlers. So, they actually had like, a collective voice, especially when it comes to shit like their healthcare and their safety and shit like that as well. Sorry, that was terrible. I wasn't really trying to go for a perfect, accurate fucking Jesse Ventura. Whatever. Don't get locked up on that one. I mean, come on. Whatever. It wasn't. You know how long it's been since I heard Jesse Ventura's voice? It's been a minute. Hulk in heaven. Sorry, help. What are you gonna do, Lucifer? When Hulkamania? What are you gonna do, Lucifer? When Hulkamania runs wild on you, brother? Oh, my drone is gonna silence like him. I also trim some arms. Oh yeah, most primates are too. This little 2% warning, so just as a safety precaution. Hey, come on, get the fuck out of here in this tangle of cords. Let's talk about my message. Oh wait, what? Oh. Also, actually, knows my I said something else here. Require vitamins that can only come from minerals. Our livers are powerful detoxification organs. We can smell rot decay very easily, indicating we all scavenging carcasses. Oh, of course, yeah. And that, frankly, explains why every time I smell something rot and stuff like that, I immediately am like, that basically. But I'm like, I'm basically like immediately like, what? Like it. I'm not gonna lie. Like maybe this is my autism. And I'm not even lying. It probably is. But I'm very oversensitive to certain smells and scents, especially, and certain tastes and stuff like that, and textures. Mostly, especially these days, like like taste bud, like texture, and smell. you know. But like certain smells for me are legit like between like even I'm not even gonna lie my own shits and other people's shits especially, but even my own when it comes to like even the slightest whiff of like something that's rotting or expired or it's or even when these dogs take a deuce or even if my dog does, especially my dog for some reason like it's just dude the slightest whiff from in here somehow I don't taste it on my taste buds, but it's just in there. I don't even know how, but I can just sense it and everywhere. And I'm just like, I'm immediately like, expel, expel. And if it's enough, I will legit like start gagging like I'm about to puke. I never have straight up puked because of it, but I have like I've gotten kind of close a few times. Even into my own. I'll be there and I'll be like, oh god, I could already tell that was bad. And all of a sudden, I just get the tiniest little whiff because it just hits, and I'll be like, oh hell no, what? And I would like, if I got another whiff, I probably would have. You know what I mean? Like I'll be sitting there while I'm just on there, and honestly, funny enough, doing that helps expel whatever's left. And I'm like, oh, thank God, get it out. Oh no. All right, for my shirt. Toilet paper, get fucking destroy that bitch out there. A little more just for safety measure. Flush under my breath. Just breathe again. And I'm just like, all right. I'm looking down and I'm just trying to see what I can assess as I'm like pulling up the Jimmy's. And I'm just like, and I could just tell whatever it was just gnarly. And honestly, I hate to say it, that's kind of been what it is lately for me. And honestly, I kind of have summed it down. A lot of it's probably because it's not like I'm not eating, but I'm just not eating as frequently as I probably should. And also, like, I have a lot of liquids in my diet. I drink a lot of, like, meal water, water in general. And, have, some of these every now and then. Not as much as lately, but, that happens to be, part of it and stuff. So it's like, that's just all going through my system. So, I mean, plus, with the pastas I make a lot, and a lot of it has olive oil, sometimes butter and stuff, and all this other shit. So it's like, it just runs, I don't know what it is. Like, I know part of it is I need more fiber in my diet, but another part of it is like, I need to just get some other shit in my diet and just eat a little more too to be like readjust my gut bacteria because down here it's like especially it's a little funky. Here ain't bad. Down here bad. Surprisingly, when I was working at Safeway, my GERD like esophageal like puking stomach acid and shit like that problem like that was way more frequent when I was working at Safeway, but that hasn't been as frequent lately in comparison to then. Like, first, interestingly enough. I mean, like, it's just the other way around. Vito, damn. Vito. Feed a beater.
What's up?
Not much, man.
What you doing?
Not much. Came back from walking them about, I guess about a little 2 hours ago, so I just been doing this. Been out and about. Got my phone bill resolved. Talk, did some phone calls, talk to some peoples. Got my phone bill resolved stuff, talked to some people and stuff. A couple phone calls and.
Oh, the phone bill.
Yep, and then hang on with my dog and stuff. I was gonna try to like talk to my dad a little bit about like our plans being separate and shit, but when I was there, he was sleeping, so I was like, I'll just walk my dog real quick for a little bit, take it to the park. Because I want to take him out for a little bit because it's been a while. He was being a little lazy boy about it. He just kind of wanted to lay around, just sniff everything. But
he's probably pretty
yeah, I mean, he's always been like that anyway. He's been kind of a cat dog anyway. But like, yeah, I mean, but a little more so than the last few times I've seen him. But I mean, he kind of goes through his little patterns, kind of like a cat. But Yeah, but when I came back, like, I guess he woke up, but he wasn't there because I wanted to talk to him a little bit about that shit too. Let him know and being like, hey, after I got this all figured out, you're kind of on your own because I'm going to make sure that you're playing separate. You're going to still be on Metro, but, I will help you have, like, the Metro app and let you know how to work that. And then, if really needed, you know where the Metro store is, and if you want, you can just switch over to something else if you want to. Like, there's plenty of other things out there. Like, you just kind of have to look around, and some of it's online, And he's so like boomer about like internet shit, especially with smartphone stuff. So I kind of have to be with him to help him like figure this out at least for this month until he gets his other shit figured out. At least for now. So I'm just like, ay. And it's like because the last few times it's literally pretty much been the same thing. Like the first time I was there, he was there for a little bit, but I didn't see him because I think he was just I don't know what he was doing. But then when I left, he was gone. So I don't know where he was and shit. But and then today he was sleeping, and then when I came back, he left. So I don't know, but at least tomorrow I got a whole game plan about following up some other shit, doing some other phone calls, with job sheet and stuff. Now that I'm back with that grind now again, so
Dude, hopefully you can get all that wrong.
yeah. Oh yeah, that's gonna be like my first priority. Because honestly, I'll just white lie them and be like, "Yo, hey, my phone broke, so I had to grab another one." And my first priority was going, following up with you guys because I know you guys were calling me back. I just didn't have a phone, which is partially true. I mean, it's
See if
just
they can you even see if they tried to call you or no?
nah. If anything, it'll just tell them the phone you're trying to reach out for is Mr. Like, I mean, that's just what happens usually. So
Oh, true.
yeah, they're. I mean, if anything, I'll just I'm just gonna have to follow up with them, just let them know that like, hey, the part of that was just because my phone was broken and I had to get a new one. Same number, but whatever. A little bit of a white lie, but not entirely wrong. So
True, yeah, it's not a lie. It's a half lie or whatever.
yeah, well, yeah, exactly, a white lie. It's a half truth. So, and honestly, it looks better than be like, oh yeah, I didn't pay the phone, but that's more embarrassing. It's just a lot easier to be like, oh yeah, that happened because that's understandable because people drop their phones, shit happens, like that happens, but like, and you have to replace it, like. What are you gonna do? When you can't replace it and you're expecting a phone call. At least until you can, right? Like so. At least that's more understandable. We've possibly been listening to Black Sabbath and Ozzy since the past. Oh yeah, there's been a lot of people that have been passing. Oh, there's another one here. I'm sure if I was in the whole Hulk over so alive, people thought they would outlive Morgan. So at this point, I feel like someone who gets through 70s Reaper plays up for grabs. Yeah, that tends to happen sometimes, don't it? I will say this much: keep my fucking mama out of it, though. Shocker as it is, she's kind of in her like early 70s. She's not like mid late 70s, but she's up there. And I'm about to be 28, so fucking doing math on that. She was in the mid fucking 40s when she had me. I was like the last egg in her ovary, basically, bro. Maybe not the last, but like the second to last, dude. You know what to say about late bloomers, I guess, right? I was asking if I think Stephen King will die before Morgan Freeman. I actually I was about to go back up because I know you asked a question. I don't know. Frankly, I hate to say it, Stephen King. She's old enough to be my mom. Which makes it a while. Dude, honestly, seriously, my mom's a fucking kind of a bad bitch warrior. Like when it comes to their circumstances, let's put it that way. I will say this much, man. I mean, she's kind of more certainly near the end of the tenure, but like considering the circumstances, like she's actually done pretty well. And also, she's always asked about like maybe being on stream one of these days. She's asked me about this for years, and I've always been like, I don't know, but because frankly, a lot of it is mostly just because I don't really necessarily like needing her looking at her being like, blah, blah, blah. But maybe I could just make her a voice off screen because Paul did it with his dad where he was off screen but talking, right? Like, so maybe I can just like pre-emphasize and be like, Mom, remember these very specific rules, and we'll do this for however long. We could just talk, for however long, blah blah blah, just however you feel comfortable. And also because honestly, the one thing that she really struggles with is a lot of pains and stuff. And I mean, another thing is I don't want her to be like too, you know, in pain, right? Like because if she isn't really not, doing well, I don't want to do it. I want her like on one of her better days for that. Like where she's at least up and about, because she will legit have like some days where she can kind of get out and about a little bit, and then some days where she just can barely get out of bed. So I'll just have to catch her on a good day and maybe do it outside, and her and I share one of her vape pens. Maybe I sneak in one of these and we split it together. Or maybe a tiny little bottle of gin and some OJ, and I'm like, hey, we got some OJ, sip on some of that. Gonna mix some of this in, and you keep the rest of that bottle, and we're gonna have a little fun. We're just gonna chat while we do it. Like, honestly, I wouldn't mind doing that, but I just will say that I just want her on a good day. I mean, because there are times while I'll visit her and she's kind of having like a midday where she's doing okay, but near like after an hour or so, give or take, of hanging with her, she'll start like crashing a little bit about like her pain and being like, oh, I need to like start laying in bed, blah blah, and some other shit. I'm like, damn, all right, so like, but then there are some days where she's just in bed and she's just already kind of there, but we can at least still hang. But it's kind of shitty, like, I mean, honestly, a lot of it's just because, I mean, she just needs to get a hip replacement surgery, but, like, it's because of our healthcare system in this country, it's just so fickle fuckety, and I don't even really know what the situation is with that at this point. I know at one point it was about, like, a weight requirement thing, but from what I understand, it seems like there's some other fucking roadblocks now, and I would not be surprised if that's because of the current administration and shit. You know what I mean? I really honestly wouldn't be surprised. I don't fucking know. But, like, she'd been needing this for fucking years. And the main reason why she was in there, so she can get into enough of a physical condition and lose enough weight, so she can get this fucking surgery. You know how long she's been in there? Since fucking COVID. I mean, it's been a long fucking time, dude. At this point, she just wants out, at this rate, into, like, an assisted living apartment complex or something. I'm just like, I don't blame you. She kind of want to drag me into it a little bit, at least for a few months, so I have like a little bit of a space, for my own too. We're like roommates, but pretty much everyone around me is like, you're pretty much living with your mom again. Like, don't do that. And honestly, I'm kind of in the same boat where I'm like, yeah, no offense to mama, but yeah, like, I just need my own spot. Maybe it could be near where you're at, and I could visit you and maybe spend a weekend with you or something. Like, I mean, that's not a problem, but like making that like a residency and then like I don't know. Because also, if I have my dog there, she can take care of my dog. I mean, I love her, but there ain't no fucking way that's gonna happen. Like, she can't let him out and let him do his thing and or walk him or all that shit. I mean, she could feed him and give him water, but that's about it. Unless this place that she's talking about like has like a backyard where she could just open the door and it's just right there and it's enclosed, or if not we can make it enclosed, then I yeah, there's exceptionally a fuck no to that. I mean, like, honestly, that would be my only consideration if I wanted to, especially just to make sure like for my dog's self it'd be good. I mean, but like overall it's like no. Sorry, Mom. I've gotten out of the nest. I've been out of the nest for for a while now. I mean, I'm kind of hopped back and forth for some time, but fuck, at this rate, I might as well just hop out of the fucking nest and just be done with it for now. I'd like to be back there, but shit, that place needs to just be a whole fucking like start from scratch, like redo, absolute fucking redo. Like, I still want to at least, be there with friends and shit like that, and still, like, organize the time to, gather stuff I want to keep, shit just toss, shit to sell, or donate to Goodwill, whatever the fuck. Like, I still want to have, like, days for that, but, like, ultimately, once it's kind of emptied out, just fucking start from scratch with that fucking place. Like, I mean, keep the exterior or maybe retrofit it or, modernize or do some other shit around it. But, like, when it comes to that interior, just, like, fucking just do a whole different fucking thing with it. Because I would like it, to be mine and keep it. But for now, at least especially for the next foreseeable future, next couple of years, I ain't going to be there. Man, is it this? What is with this fucking bowl, bro? Is it the wrong bowl? No. This is getting ridiculous, alright. Alright, now I'm feeling the Alex Jones fucking rage a little bit now. Come on. What is going on here? There we go. Just have to do that, I guess. Jesus. I've already used my lives. Well, hey. Yeah, I mean, I guess there's a whole 9 lives and, like, like skirting death kind of shit. Honestly, there's definitely been, like, a couple times where I've, done that before. Honestly, I think there's at least been once on stream where I've talked about it. I think the couple times where I've skirted around it. Not because of, like, any, like, mental health reasons. Just literally because of just, like, oh, shit. I could have probably died. Yeah, because for me, there was at least a few that I could distinctly remember that I'm like, in hindsight, at the time, I really didn't think I would, or really even think about it. But in hindsight, I'm like, as a memory, I'm like, oh, yeah, I could have. And me climbing the rims in Billings, in Montana with my dad, there was a few times where I was kind of legit just stuck. And honestly, it's because I was there's a few times where I was about to, like, grab a rock and climb up. But then that stereotypical, like, Hollywood, like, oh no! That happened a few times. And I was like, Dad, what do I do? And I'm like a little kid, like 7 or some shit. I'm looking down. We're like halfway up these cliffs, and that means I'm like 30 feet down before it's all just gravel and bullshit just going down. It's like, yeah, if I fell, I'm dead. Like, my dad's like higher up, trying to like guide me and like be like, no, you got to do this and blah, blah, blah. Like, and I did, and it worked, but it worked out. And then also there's another time, funny enough, also fucking Montana, and my cousin, like, we're roughhousing in the pool once at like the YMCA and Billings and shit as kids, like, and I don't know what the fuck why we were doing this, but we were like dunking our heads in the water, and he went too fucking hard. He not only dunked my head in the water, but he like took his feet and then like forced me down at the bottom of the pool, and we were like at the like 3 foot level. We're like about like 4-ish feet at this point. This was maybe we're a little older. This is like we're probably like 9-ish, 10. He was a little younger, like, and he just did that to me for a while, to the point where I'm like, I couldn't hold my breath anymore, going, bleh. And my body was trying to like fucking inhale, but I just knew, that I'm like, I am not trying to like inhale water, especially chlorinated water and all that shit, especially in hindsight. I'm just like, oh, hell no. And I just like literally like, bleh, and just like fought and just like eventually rose out like and just did the biggest inhale I think I probably, even for a little kid, I could ever do in my fucking life. I was just like, oh my god. And I almost like went. I for a little kid, I want to say you fucker, but I was like, you jerk up, and I just like started smashing water at him and stuff because he was like kind of far enough away because I pushed him off and he kind of floated a little bit, and I was like, I couldn't bring no more. Like I kind of ran it off a little bit, and I was like, I'm done. My spur gas, I'm done. I'm just gonna just sit, on this chair and just wrap a towel around me and just be upset. Oh shit, miss a lot here. You know what's gonna suck? We get transhumanism, but they saw a future where your augmented bodies are forced you to work outside to be your dead son and actually have to work the mines for 100 years outside. They haven't had like man, we have to cross the road. It's earlier than we have to do it. It's coming right now. Damn. Honestly, if our current system as it is now maintains the way it is, if we get that, then yeah, it absolutely would be. But hey, by the time we get transhumanism, hopefully we have transcended, against capitalism. But who knows? All I did was try to drown you. Don't be a pussy, dude. No, like he didn't even play it off like that. He was like, "We're just playing, man." And I'm just like, "No." You kept me down there for way longer than just like dunking our heads and then just like back and forth like we're Oompa Loompas or something. Because initially that's literally what we were doing. Like, I mean, we weren't even like being that fucking serious, but then for some reason he was like, what would it feel like to murder someone? Like, he just like had a like, as a kid, just a weird like serial killer urge or some shit, bro. I mean, he's fine now. Like, I mean, he's all grown. Like, I've known him since, now he's an adult. He's like, we're great. Like, he's a really good dude. It's been a long fucking time since I heard from him, though. But, like, he's doing great. So, from my understanding, he's married. I think he has, like, a kid or something now, I think, at this point. At least last time I, saw him in person, he had a girlfriend. But I think the last time I heard, he was married with her now at this point. So, I need to hit him up and actually kind of see what's up. But, I mean, when it comes to that side of the family, the only like they're mostly connected from my step grandmother who passed away. So now they're not really so much of like, they're outside of like my connections with my sister who still lives, in the same area and shit. So I'm just like, I mean, I'm just kind of hoping the connections are still there because next time, especially if I visit my sister, I want to see him and see, like at least my in-law side of my family from my step grandmother, before she passed. I still want to see them because I grew up with them. Like half of my childhood with my summers, were with them. Like so. Yeah, I mean, as far as I care, I don't care if it's like by law or not, whatever the fuck. They're still family to me. I saw that was one while I was playing down there. No, it was just playing. Well, honestly, I bet if him and I had a beer reminiscing about our childhoods and shit, honestly, I bet we would all just have laughs because we were just being fucking dumb kids, man. I forgive it because we're just being fucking kids. Granted, a little excessive at times, but for the most part, we were just your typical fucking kids, Typical boys sometimes that would get little fights and have their little pitter tantrums and whatever. I was a little extra sometimes, but sometimes not because I was a little Portland kid going to Montana, so I was a little special, so I got a little treatment privilege while I was down there. But even then, I wasn't exempt. There were times where I got my like timeouts and shit too. So I mean, I wasn't exempt from that shit, but I probably, should have had that happen more often than not, though, to be fair. But, I'm just going to accept it. I'm just going to be glad that I had the privilege when I did. God love, that childhood visiting the grandparents and the, cousins and all the other relatives out of state kind of privilege and shit. You got to love that a little bit because, yeah, they won't tolerate every little fucking thing, but they'll tolerate enough. enough, and that's all that matters. Did you see the cat study before the stream? Yes, I did. It was a very cute cat. Is that your cat? Or is that just a random internet cat? I gotta show you, not really my kitty. It's technically my dad's cat, but I don't know. I guess depending on what my dad does, if he moves, I might actually kind of take the cat from him. Be like, no, he's mine. Because even let's say that, like, he's in, like, fucking, I don't know, like, in Boise or fucking Bend or whatever, like, the place he said he was going to move to or whatever, and he passes or whatever, over there. Who else is going to take care of the cat? Me. I'll be like, give me the cat. I'll literally go out of my way to go over there and get the damn cat. So it's probably just better for me to maybe just have the cat myself, honestly. Though, that's the thing, I mean, I need to make sure I have, like, other things worked out before that happens, but I don't think that would happen anytime soon. But him moving might. And honestly, that'd be a fucking silver lining because, like, the back and forth, like, of going there, it's literally getting worse because of his ass. That's honestly why I'm literally, honestly, more and more coming over here more than there. It's like, he just makes it fucking worse. And even when I'm not there, he's not doing the basic due diligence of, like, hey, can you at least make sure my dog don't shit somewhere or stuff? Because when I'm there, I at least try to pick it up especially when it's fresh, and I know it's like, all right, he didn't do it today or whatever, or yesterday or whatever. It's like, fuck. But like, it's like, God, dude, it's like, man. Talking to you, Corn Farts Energy Drink MC. What's up, Rip? Gus Page for the win. I know, right? It's from r/Champlain Ears. Ah. So it's an internet cat. But yeah, I gotta show you the cat, though. Little Loki. He is the most sweetest little thing. He's not neutered, but surprisingly, he doesn't, like, spray or mark his turf or anything like a normal male cat normally likes to do and shit. Surprisingly, he kind of acts like a neutered cat while not being neutered. It's strangely surprising. He's a good boy. He's like the most friendliest little thing in the fucking world. Like, he sees me, he's like, meow, love me, hi. Like, he's super friendly. I mean, the only thing is, like, he's not really that much of a bandito. Though he likes to go outside sometimes, but he's more of an exploreful kitty, more so than, like, I want to go outside so I can hunt. Like, he's not really that, like Bandit was. But I'm thinking, maybe he could be trained into that. He's a very playful one, too. I seriously did take Chaos Magic. I mean, Chaos Magic, like Chaos Wizards and shit, I appreciate and honestly love the idea, but I really honestly don't think it's a thing. And, but honestly, I do appreciate it and like it because it broadly, the whole point of it is essentially just saying, hey, we appreciate the chaos of the universe and we just, like, are basically hedging our bets towards that broader chaos and shit like that. You know what I mean? Like, so I appreciate and respect it. And honestly, like, when it comes to just broader chaos theory, I think our universe is really just, there is order within chaos. That's what I think our universe is basically about. Our universe is chaos of just, like, stars, matter, protons, atoms, all sorts of shit just going fucking, doing their things. And then you have order with these stars, these solar systems, these galaxies, all these things. Like, there is order within it all. And that includes within these solar systems, within the planets, within, like, life itself. Like, despite the chaos of it all, there is order within it. Like, I'm kind of in that principle. Like, like, philosophically, when it comes to my broader principles about, like, what do I think of the universe? At least in part, that's what I think. Like, within the chaos of the universe, there's order within it, because obviously there is. We can see it. There's even mathematical order with it. Like, it's there. But at the same time, there's a lot of chaos with it all. There's very unpredictable things. There's a lot of, like, shit where we're like, oh, fuck, that's an asteroid. What's the percentile chance of it hitting us? Oh, fuck, maybe it's kind of high, even though it's at, like, 4%. 4 months later, oh, it's actually up 0.2%, because we studied it long enough and realized projector mathematically is a little different, you know? So it's like, yeah, like, I mean, like, but that could be due to multiple factors. Maybe just because we had to study a little more. Maybe, you know, there's another projectile that it just happened to hit and it just boop, bumped it off course and we just didn't notice it, or just whatever, you know? Like, there's all sorts of fucking variables that sometimes we can't even fucking account for. And also, our universe, as far as we can tell, and as far as we know, theoretically, is ever expanding, right? So, and also, we're seeing solar systems form before our fucking eyes. Like, we recently got a fucking picture of a solar system like 1,200 light years away, like within, you know, the Orion constellation, just above Orion's belt, you know, of planets fucking forming around a star. It's like, I mean, despite the chaos of it all, it's like there's order that is going on, you know? Like, I'm kind of in that little element. Like, you need chaos, but you need order, and there's a spectrum of that, you know, depending on, I guess, where you are in the universe, right? And honestly, even then, you know, quantified it back down and narrowed it down a little. You know, it's like, because even for us as our own species, like, we're a very chaotic, but also, in a weird way, a very orderly but predictable species. And if anything, I always say it, the most predictable thing about our species is that we're very unpredictable. Right? So, I mean, it's one of those things where it's just like, you know, I mean, I think honestly there should be an element of like, hey, you gotta kind of embrace the chaos of it all, but that doesn't mean that there isn't order within it, and it doesn't mean you can't really like guide some of that order or chaos to an extent, you know, like, you know, into a certain trajectory. If anything, you can use the chaos to your advantage, you know, to like guide, you know, in like the broader order to a certain way. At least, you know, as a species, you know, when it comes to our society, right? I mean, if anything, that's kind of partly why I'm an accelerationist of our American politics right now, because like even some of the establishment Dems like Newsom and shit are kind of looking, you know, and realizing like, yeah, playing low ball is actually kind of the way to go and shit. It's like, you know, yeah, use the chaos to your advantage. Actually, fucking like go hard, you know, like take some advantages with the chaos of what's going on a little bit, and harness that and establish something as a broader order. And I don't mean like a new world order or whatever, but just like as an order of like the trajectory of where things are going, as like a broader, you know, idea of where like our country's going, like societally, culturally, etc. Like, you know, change it, you know, in a way that actually makes sense and also is in the right way. Oh shit, I gotta change batteries on this bitch. Right, give me a sec here. Not that I don't mind the song, but not the vibe I'm feeling. Some of your times all the way after what's about happening. We see it times where the sites, source on. Wait, well, I mean, yeah, they're emotions. Well, no, I get what you mean. The idea that will and desire will shape reality in some way. I mean, I don't necessarily think that's a part of the broader, like, I don't know. At least, you know, I guess on an individual level, but I kind of look at it on a more broader level. Like, because on an individualistic level, I mean, I really don't know it as 100%. I guess that depends on how much you're willing to dictate the world around you, right? Like, if you dictate the world around you to, like, you know, maximize your interests, and, you know, yeah, I mean, maybe in a way. You know, but at the same time, that isn't necessarily chaos wizardry or chaos magic. That's just, I mean, as some of my friends would call it, just hustling or just being on the grind and stuff, or just like being disciplined. Like, I mean, honestly, in a way, wouldn't that be more of like an order? wouldn't the chaos mean saying fuck it? I'm just gonna go like, go to like, this music show or whatever, and just like get good with the band and like maybe jam with them or something to get their number. Wouldn't that be like a little bit of chaos? Like, or honestly, what happened with me the other day, like getting the number of like some dude who's like a punk guy, literally is like kind of a folk punk dude for sure, like from what I could tell, and like train hop from like places like Louisiana, like Kentucky, all these fucking places, end up being Oregon, like all this shit. Literally lives around the corner from my house, like all this shit. It's just like, and that dude, it's like, I mean, like there is a little bit of a chaos of like, just a happenstance of like, hey, we met, and despite being so close to each other, but from that, you can make an order of that. You know what I mean? Like, I guess that's kind of like maybe my thing about like chaos. I mean, because I embrace it because you get shit like that, but at the same time, you get shit that can kind of fuck you up too. Maybe not necessarily in a way where it's like, oh, like, got in a car with a friend who got drunk and he got in an accident. I mean, it could be like that, but that just depends on how dumb you are. But like, it could be some other variables, like, oh shit, I happen to make, this left turn a little, California roll on this stop, and the cop happened to be there and stopped me and got me a ticket. Oh, fuck. Or I'm getting out of a parking lot and someone T-boned me as I was getting out, and, fucking now I got a fucking wrecked car, random shit like that. Or got laid off, random bullshit. Or I got a really bad fucking infection that could probably kill me, and now I have to take time off work, and my insurance won't cover it because they suck, because our country sucks. And it's like random shit like that. I mean, sometimes chaos ain't good, but when it comes to the chaos, that is good, that kind of hits your way, like, oh, you got to definitely take advantage of that and fucking, cling on that, honestly, in a way. You gotta look at that and be like, oh, fuck. Take advantage while it's there, because chances are that ain't gonna happen again. I mean, and that's even coming from me, who tends to be kind of a social awkward. Like, I don't usually jump on the gun for, like, starting conversation right off the bat, at least especially if I'm going to and fro places or, like, on the bus and shit. But other people do sometimes, and frankly, I'm glad that happens. And maybe I probably should do the same, because there are definitely times where I'll see some people, like where I'll be like, fuck, I definitely want to like make a comment or two. I just don't want to be awkward, but also I'm like, my stop is like around the corner, and so, but I should just be doing that more often because it does feel nice. Even earlier today, like when I was coming back over here from my place, like somebody happened to comment on my hat, being like, "Nice hat, man. I love the pins." And I was like, "Thanks, bro." Didn't say much, just complimented on it as all. But I did happen to see the other day too, somebody with a Palestinian flag on his backpack. I think honestly the guy was probably homeless, but I don't give a fuck, honestly. Whatever. Whatever his plight or whatever his situation was ain't my business, but hope for the best. But either way, but he had a Palestinian flag wrapped around his backpack, and he had a keffiyeh wrapped around his neck. And I was already funny enough listening to like some pro-Palestinian music at the time, and I just had like, but my bus stop was like the next one, like after when he got on. And I was like, damn, I kind of want to talk to him for a little bit because I really like the cut of this guy's jib, but it's just like my stop is next. Like, so I was kind of in a conundrum. Like, do I want to make a quick, tiny conversation, or do I just look and admire and then just leave? Because that's basically all I could do. It's like, damn. Oh, I'll message time. Hang on. Well, actually, not a bad idea because I need to take a Pepis anyway. I just load it up for next time. So I'll be back and then read all that for you, my friend. You beater. Big old belly boy. Ugh. Did I just listen to this earlier? No. Okay. Oh my god! Man, when you said a long message, I didn't realize it was this fucking long. God damn. Alright. I'm gonna treat this like 2 paragraphs, okay? So give me a second. Multiverse theory. Some say they don't like it because it's too human-centered. Let's say another dimension. I'm not saying that number. Everything is exactly the same except you wear your apps forwards instead of backwards. If you're wondering why this number, I'll explain in a moment. As for human factor, let's remove it. So yeah, please, thank you. Let's say there are 2 trees in a field during the third storyline strikes left tree, but another dimension is right tree strikes said. Now you get the number. This is almost a number. The match number constant shuffling for them. How would you be sure where I'm from? I'm asleep. Wait, so. Now okay, so multiply universes with almost unnoticeable differences. Now imagine if we're constantly shuffling through them. How would you know for sure this is where you're from? I suppose you never really would know, right? I suppose that's also why people have deja vu and shit like that too, huh? Because there are times where I will legit have weird moments where I'm I vividly remember watching this video, and it would be a few months old, or maybe even a year old. I mean, it would be an older video, but in a weird fucking way, it would be I vividly remember being almost in this exact same position, listening to almost the same time frame of this video, kind of thing. Let's say I'm in my bed listening to an old thing or whatever, right? And I just have a weird deja vu of I listened to this pretty much the exact same way, and pretty much from the same time frame and everything, where I'm I literally did this. Then it could even be a month ago or a few weeks ago. And maybe honestly, maybe I didn't. But I probably did. Because I don't remember it. Because it's just one of those throwaway things where I'm just from something for sleep to. Or I'll go on transit, or whatever, go on the bus and listen to something. And sometimes I'll be I don't know what to listen to. So I'll just listen to this whole thing I used to listen to. And just happenstance, it's maybe something where I have that deja vu. I'm I listened to this on the bus here. But the thing is, it's just did I? Or is it a multiverse? I mean, there is a factor, but ultimately, you never know. You're never going to know. I mean, the only way that you can really figure that out is through your own memories, but even then, it's just your own memories. It's honestly, that's why I kind of like the whole idea of just make the world your own adventure book. I mean, you have to understand, quantify the basic laws of the reality that you're in, and at least when it comes to every possible universe we may or may not be shifting through, they all have to at least pretty much be relatively the same, maybe outside of slight different circumstances. And also, there are definitely going to be universes out there that have totally different laws of physics and shit like that too as well. But at least for the ones that are alternate timelines and universes similar or at least almost identical to ours, they're pretty much going to be the same. So, who knows? Well, god titty damn it. Titty sprinkles. I was trying to grab this and I just yeeted the whole fucking thing. Ay, cabrón. Puta madre, ay. That's me. There we go. Talk shit. What false creature we want to be? I'm going to be Superman because they don't have to think so hard. They could be radiated thag. What about one of those intelligent Nightkin or intelligent meat suit mutants like at Jonestown? Be one of them. But if we're gonna be talking about like creatures, honestly, dude, this one's actually kind of tough, dude. Talk about like everything, and it's the Fallout universe, man. Like no matter what, you're kind of fucked, and it's gonna be bad. I don't know, like honestly, a human or like a really minorly mutated ghoul that like was born shortly after the war, and I got irradiated, but I wasn't too fucked up, so I have very little like ghoulification effects, but I'm still a ghoul, something like that. I don't fucking know. Basically, like a really like, do robots count? Nah, they're not creatures. They're mechanical things. They're not creatures. So no, they don't. At least by the logic and the premise we're going with, no. They're not a creature. If we're talking about sentient beings, then honestly, yeah, probably. Because they do have robots and other, mechanical things, that are like automatons and like AI and their own sentient, like, shit. Are any cyborgs? Technically, Old World Blues, the scientists that put their brains in those little weird robots and shit. They're technically cyborgs, but they just, put their brains in bots. And you got the Robo Brains, which are technically cyborgs as well to an extent. And the dogs, like Rex in Fallout New Vegas. I mean, they exist. I would actually, would be Rex, the dog. If I were to be any creature, if any specific one, Rex. And, because honestly, depending on what brain you put in Rex, like, he's just going to be the sweetest boy. And the most, like, awesome, greatest attack dog, and, like, the most loyal little bean. Like, I mean, dude, no other fault. A little too long. That was like, hey, it was like reconnect. Reconnect. It's like, fuck, that was taking a little longer than that, but all right. But like I was saying, like when it comes to like one little baby nitpick, it would be like you could buy like a little plot of land just outside of like New Vegas or maybe in Good Springs, and you could just like live there, and have like a little home base of operations. I mean, I guess you do. Like, I mean, there are like a Novak, Lucky 38. I mean, you got your places, but I feel like there should have been a custom ability to be like, hey, here in Good Springs, we have an abandoned lot that you could potentially buy, help invest in Good Springs, and make it your own place, and then you could just like buy upgrades, shit like that, that'd be kind of cool. I guess maybe if they were ever to remaster it, which frankly keep Bethesda keep their fucking fingers off of it. It has to be like Obsidian and Zeta, like it has to be those two. Like it has to be the original makers. They have to be the ones to do it. If not, I don't want it. Or just a mod community, which I know there is a mod community trying to work on it, but his life fucking sucks, bro. Oh, Mr. House. Oh, dude, yeah, because he's technically not a cyborg. He's surviving off of life support for over 200 plus fucking years, to where if he got exposed to the world, he would just die regardless. Even if he lived and was returned into that little life support system, he would die either way. Like, it wouldn't matter. He has to permanently stay in there. So, like, there has to be some sort of a drug or some sort of like neural implant. I guess this is where the cyborg part comes into play, where it's in his head, to where he can just like look throughout the Lucky 38 for any Securitron, all that shit, because he can see and look at you through like that screen when you're initially talking to him before you go meet his body and stuff, if you choose that path, shit like that. Like, I mean, so he obviously has it a way to like look and watch and see and shit, but it's just like, honestly, I would not want that fucking life. If I was gonna be uploaded into a computer like that, don't let it be like that. I want to at least like legit have just the consciousness uploaded and then just like let me be in the cloud. You know what I mean? But even then, I'd rather have the ability to check out. If I wanted to eventually. Just because it'd be like, all right, I've done enough. I've seen enough. I've kind of gotten bored with just everything about life. I'm done. I'm good. I could kind of restart and with no memory and reincarnate or something. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, at that point, that's why like I'm kind of a little open with that because, like, hey, why not have a little reboot, but it's a little bit more in the future. You just have no memory or recollection of the lives before. I know that probably ain't anything, but it'd be very interesting if it was. I mean, in a way, at least just on the virtue of just like raw energy that is in the universe, kind of is. I mean, it's like because we're all ultimately like a form of energy. Life is a form of energy. Like because we need energy to sustain, we consume energy to live. Like that's just how life is, right? Like so, we're at least a broader conduit of the broader complexity that is energy in the universe. So it's like eventually, once we pass, like that energy transfers into other life and other shit, and eventually that just recycles. So, I mean, eventually, I guess in a way we do, but just not in the way that people think. Not in spiritual level, at least. Just on a very raw scientific level. And it's kind of cold, but hey, eventually maybe my energy goes into a life form and I can channel this consciousness of that energy into something else, and I'm like, haha, now it's mine. Where did the rap come into play? I know I have some of it on my playlist, but it's not often that it comes up or I'm in the mood for it. Especially because, like, usually my homeboys are always playing it. I'll just play that for now. I mean, it is a rap, but at least it's different. At that point, why doesn't he just get his brain transferred into a robot body? I don't fucking know. Ask Mr. House. I'm sure there has to be something related to the lore. Maybe, like, there has to be a question that, like, cause, I mean, I don't know. Like, honestly, it's been so long since I played New Vegas, despite me knowing so much about the lore of that and everything. But, like, that's actually one part that kind of excites me. I also don't fucking know. Also going to play Tetris again and get up number 9, but I think it's too fast for me. Also, I think the same thing. Look, I consciously see spawn death. But say someone clones your brain and puts it in a new body, would that be your consciousness, or would it be a new person with it? New person, I would think. Like, cloning consciousness, like, I mean, we have to think about this in a sense of, like, how life reproduces, right? Because there is asexual reproduction or cloning that can happen too. But that clone ends up being its own specimen eventually. Like we do this with plants. I mean, there's different microbiology and even macrobiology that can do this. Like so, I mean, those entities eventually, like hydras, for example, like they asexually reproduce and they end up being their own entity. So I would argue, honestly, they'd just be their own thing. Granted, they would pretty much, in a way, almost act like a twin to you for the most part, but their experiences are going to be different from your own. Like, their experiences are going to be different from mine. And my consciousness is not going to be the same as theirs. So, unless, like, a part of my consciousness, or at least it in itself entirely, was transferred into another body, I would cease. Like cloning it, would also include with that. At least I would argue. I mean, maybe there's an argument to be had, like where it would be like, yeah, it's your own consciousness, but I don't know. Like that has never been done. It's never been tested. So I mean, even with Star Trek, they kind of theorize like you know like with the transporters. Like it's literally dematerializing you and rematerializing you in another place. Like it's literally taking every atom of you and every little particle of you and transporting it and like reforming it. Like arguably, did you die and were you cloned, or were you died and resurrected slash like kind of reformed and alive again? When like there's even a theory with that in Star Trek about that shit, which arguably it's possible. Like I mean, I would at least say with that, like, especially if we're able to have the ability to transport on that level, like, because from my understanding, we can transport, like, individual or, like, a small cluster of, like, photons and shit like that. I mean, we can transport stuff, but we're just nowhere near the level of, like, Star Trek levels of, like, transporting human being and shit. So, I mean, it's just one of those things where eventually if we get to that tech, I mean it's arguably it's like is that like a new consciousness forming, or is that just like you're dead for a minute but you're like it's almost like kind of a moment where you're like and just nothing and then you're like all right, I'm here, and then just it's like kind of a moment of just blackness for a second and then you're just there, or maybe you don't even notice it. I mean, because of how potentially quick or swift it can be when it comes to transporting, I guess depending on how far away you're being transported from, right? I don't know. Like, that's just. This is starting to mind fuck me, bro. Why are we going so deep in science and shit? My mind was kind of on politics when I started the stream, and now we're in, like, science and mind fucking shit. And I've been watching Picard lately, and, I'm on the 3rd season and shit, and I'm just like, fuck, dude. You doing this to me? I'm on my sci-fi kick and you're doing this shit to me. I mean, because especially with the idea of the consciousness, like we don't even truly understand like how it fully fucking works. We know that it's a thing. We know about like the general basics of how it works and everything else, about that, right? But like where it really is rooted in, what like truly defines it, like all this other shit we don't fucking know. So when it comes to certain things, at least especially when it comes to like extra level shit, like it's one thing where it's like you die for a second and then you're resurrected, like oh your heart stopped for a minute but then defibrillators boom and you're like your heart starts again, like that's different. But like this shit though, this whole another ball game where we don't know. I mean, so arguably maybe it could be kind of a similar thing. But also, would that like kind of be a weird mindfuck too, in a sense? Because think about this, like, because there are some people that say that they like see shit with death and stuff, but we also know that our brain just explodes with DMT, upon death. At least, if your death doesn't smush your brain, I guess. But like, at least in the times where it's fine, it's like we kind of go for some wild shit, like where we're going for basically literally a DMT trip before we die. So it's like, would that happen while we're going for like a transportation slash like cloning of our consciousness process? Because there is probably going to need to be a factor, or scientifically is probably a factor where we do die for a minute during that process. It'd be very fucking interesting to see what happens and stuff like that. Because it's like, I mean, because the human brain is such a weird in itself mindfuck. Like, we named our brain, like our sentience and our consciousness comes from the brain. We named that organ and where it comes from, the brain. It's a fucking mindfuck, bro. to me, honestly, because it's such a complex, weird organ, but yet, like, we, at least especially as our brain, defined what it was and understood ourselves and our own bodies and shit. At least as a brain, right? Like, it's really kind of a mind fuck. Because, like, what ultimately makes us human is really right up here. Again, it's just a mind fuck, dude. Because without it, like, we would basically just be like any other rudimentary form of life that exists out there. Doc for the Balls to Picasso remaster gets released today. Ooh, that's cool. Nice. Rose kind of got me a little too deep with science and consciousness and other shit because he wants to mind fuck me, basically. Help me get out of the bullshit. Actually, I want to ask you, like, sister here, is there a way to like petition against that bill that I sent in the group chat about the permit bullshit? I know you kind of sent some, in the chat before, but honestly, I must have like either forgot or just overlooked it. But to me, I'm just like, what the fuck? It's just another dumb fucking thing that Oregon is doing. And it's like, petition against it, obviously, it already passed. I know it did. But do you think there's a way to maybe we can do a ballot measure that can, like, appeal it? Ballot initiative. Well, okay, so we're kind of on the same page, I guess, when it comes to the idea. Because honestly, I would rather it just be like, because here's my thing. Like, what do you think would be a better way to fund the stuff they want to fund? Because honestly, what they want to do with the money is like not even really that bad, but it's like the way they want to fund it is the most dumbest fucking way possible. I don't think it's worth it. It's like $30 a year. Well, for the permits. Well, I looked it up. It's $20, for all year pass. Fund it with tax on boat purchases. I honestly think that's a great idea. I even mentioned earlier on the stream being like, you know what? For the particular parks that are getting the funding for these projects, just, like increase, the fee for those, parks, for a couple bucks for a certain amount of years, even after, it's funded, just to be like a way to fund, the project. And also maybe a local county tax, of like 1%. Because I don't give a fuck about my taxes going to a project like that. I don't care, like, I'd rather my taxes go to shit like that. So, I mean, like, what they want to do isn't even bad. It's just the way they want to fund it. It's the most dumbest fucking way possible. It's like, come on. It's actually, yeah, I was looking into the article and read up at least a general synopsis of it all. And it's like, I think it's either $3 for a day pass or a week pass. I forgot if it's one or the other. But I know for an all year pass, it's $20. Which, for how much we kayak and raft and stuff, it might be worth it. But honestly, we might want to hustle on a lot of trips then at that point and make it worth our dollar. Because the first trip we're going to do, we're going to need to get those permits. And I looked into it, and honestly, it's so fucking convoluted when you have multiple paddleboards or kayaks and shit like that, and you lend it to friends or family. Like, you're going to want to look into it, because honestly, from what I looked into it, it's kind of confusing and stupid. Hey, what's up, homie?
What's up, man?
Not much.
Stuffy in here.
Yeah, a little bit. I was about half tempted, maybe pull that. Yeah, you're just like, fuck it, I'm doing it. It was kind of a hot day today. I think it's just one per kayak. Well, from what I understand, like if you have no more than like 2 paddleboards or kayaks or things like that you're lending to friends, that one permit also applies to them. But if it's family members, you have to have a permit for each of those, kayaks and shit like that. It honestly is very fucking convoluted, bro. From what I was reading up on it, I saw bulletins on an article. Like I'm gonna actually look up the bill and read up on it, and see what the specifics are. But at least from what I was reading up on it, as a quick little glance, I was just like, this doesn't make sense, and honestly, this is the most stupidest fucking thing. Why? Like, it's just dumb. Because it just makes it more costly, especially for, people like us to just have a little 4-hour kickback or 5-something hour float, with us, Barbara Carton, MacIver to Barton, stuff like that. Why make it more costly on people that just want to kick back and enjoy our fucking state? Enjoy the nature around us. I mean, I'm talking about that bill that passed I sent in your group chat earlier today. Which is like the most dumbest fucking thing I've ever seen for a bill.
Really dumb bill with the big bill. Did another bill?
Well, no, I'm talking about for Oregon.
Oh, Oregon.
Yeah. Well, Oregon, Tina Kotek signed a bill that's going to go into effect in January 1st, 2026 about, even paddleboards, kayaks, and people, that do that need water permits, for floating and shit.
You need a permit?
Yep. As of January 1st, 2026.
Who the fuck came up with that?
Dude, it's an article that I sent in the group chat. Did you not see it? I had a whole back and forth with Tyler about it.
People just go around, and we're in a democratic state. So
I know.
We have these people
We
claiming...
need a permit to go float and kayak down Barbara and Carton now.
Yeah, but who's gonna stop us?
That's what I was wondering. How are they going to enforce
How are
it?
they going to enforce it?
We
Yeah.
don't have enough people to.
I'm
So
already paying $8 twice. Paying $16 to go rafting. You
it's,
gotta pay for both parks. It's $8 a fee to get into the damn park. Fuck you.
no
Why
one
are we
reads the
giving
stuff
you
I
money in the
sent. I
state?
sent this weeks ago. Well, I guess honestly I overlooked it. Or honestly I forgot. One and two. Like I said, Rip City. But
So dumb.
yeah, but either way, man, like, it's fucking dumb. But hey, man, like, if you said that a ballot initiative could potentially, like, revert this in a way, then let's honestly, let's try to fucking push it. Let's see if there's other people that, like, want to, like, get on board with it. You know what I mean? I guarantee you there's different organizations, local nonprofit, like, political orgs that would be okay and being on board. Be like, hey, all we want to do is revert this and have another way to fund this. Keep, the projects and shit. Keep all that. Just restructure how we're funding it. Like funding transit. No, I mean, well, what if we make our Oregon big, beautiful bill? What if we make an Oregon big, beautiful ballot initiative measure? What if we do that? What if we put some transit stuff in that? What if we make it just like a big rehaul and like, let's just modernize some shit in the state? I mean, from our parks to our infrastructure to our transit, can only cover one subject. What? No, that needs to be reformed. A ballot initiative can only cover a single subject. Bullshit. It needs to cover at least 3. And even then, there shouldn't be a limit. What? Wow. Well, maybe, you know what? There should be a ballot initiative to revoke that. And then we can have a ballot initiative to do this that I'm talking about. Boom. Guess that's bunk. It's to prevent bullshit like our states where they try to throw something shitty and something popular and shitty thing past the one subject rule is a good thing. You know what? Okay, maybe unlimited. How about compromise? 3. You can, maximize it to 3 particular subjects, but if it's like a progressive style ballot initiative, like I just mentioned, I already mentioned 3 with what I mentioned. Transit, that, funding, like with this whole, restructuring, the funding for, these parks and boat ramps and shit, right? That they're trying to do with this bill that we're talking about, how started, right? Have that. that transit funding and reinvestment in the infrastructure there, and then like honestly from there, more expansion on public transit projects abroad, into other towns. Let's give a budget to other towns like Madras, Bend, and expand their transit services if they have any, and if not, let's give them some funding to establish some, even if it's small. You know what I mean? Like, do something basic and just get something established, and throw a little few things in there, because then now you got Republicans and a few other people that just they can't throw shit in there because the subjects, so to speak, are already filled. The subjects in themselves are filled. Now they have to argue on the merits about those particular subjects, and I mean, I guess that could be the make or break of a bill, when it comes to that particulars, but at least it narrows down, opposition, that are in support of the bill, so to speak, but want to throw some shit in there. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. I mean, maybe I say 3. I think that would be a good idea. Like, when it comes to ballot initiative, you have 3 subjects maximum that you can throw in there. But you have to do that initially. When you get enough signatures for that, measure, and everything else in between, all that shit, and now it's officially going to go to vote, you can't change it anymore. It's now set in stone. So, you basically, have the time to the signature process and everything else, in between all that to switch it up a little bit. But before then, once it goes to vote, it's locked in.
That saves money.
Hell yeah.
As it should be, in a way. Like, because I know there are some times where, I've heard about ballot measures, having little changes here and there because of, maybe they need to get more signatures, but they have to, take a thing out or maybe add a thing or something. But I don't know. Ultimately, I'm all about, maximizing the democratic process. And I think at least, especially ballot initiatives, expanding the subject of certain ballot initiatives, especially if we're trying to get kind of a general broad goal that, I mean, because think about it, wouldn't transit funding also include, with investing in the parks and the parking and all that stuff there too, and the transit to these parks as well. I mean, they kind of go hand in hand in a way. So I mean, so to me, it's if we had at least, an expansion of at least the subjects for a particular ballot initiative, we could probably make them go hand in hand and be beneficial across the board. So I don't know. I mean, I think in time, if we can at least expand that a little bit, not unlimited, when it comes to a ballot initiative, but at least, adding, I don't know, 3 maximum, then, I think it'd be good. Real world example, transfer arrests on Parliament, Missouri. Abortion arrests a popular state legislature tried to ban abortion by putting an anti-trans measure. Well, it's going to be different from state to state for sure. I'm just talking for Oregon's particular politics. And maybe to a lesser extent Washington too, because I think it could work here too. But, and even more so because I think they're open primary state. So even more so. But, for Missouri, yeah, you're going to have to kind of play your politics and locally, for that state differently. And if I was born and raised in Missouri, my politics and how I would talk about how to address the issues in that state would be way different. Actually, I know Phoebe used to live in that state. And actually, you know what Missouri's got over us? They're the one state that has legal cannabis lounges. They got recreational lead there. Yeah, I'm not fucking joking. Yeah, Phoebe lives in Mississippi right now, but she used to live in Missouri for a long time. But yeah, legally they have cannabis lounges, and you can literally be at a cannabis bar. Yeah, legally, in law, where it's a business, a bar. Can where your smoking lounge is can be a cannabis lounge too.
But when it first legalized, there were cannabis lounges. I've been to them. So We're kind of like a dispensary slash
You know,
hookah lounge.
I've been trying
Kind of
to.
like a hookah lounge.
I mean, behind the
to be
scenes,
honest.
I've been talking to Phoebe about doing a one-on-one stream, but like one of these days, like if that does happen, I might have to like bring you in and be like, hey, might want to sell because like
Bring
I,
me
I
in?
pr- why not? I mean,
Oh, okay, cool.
yeah, why
I'm
not?
down.
Like,
I'm
yeah,
down.
I mean, she's cool as fuck. I mean,
I'm
so
down.
yeah, but like,
did he talk to you, Mark? Andrew?
No, what?
well, no, we talked for a little bit. Yeah, well,
Oh, he's talking about
I just told him about my day and stuff. Yeah, I told him about my shit. I was gonna talk to Logino, but now he just went over there. Never mind, whatever. We'll be getting the fuck out of Missouri, fleeing to Illinois. Well, funny enough, like Missouri, out of all the South, is actually not entirely the worst state, at least from what Phoebe says, and she's a trans woman. So it's one of those things where it's like, if she's saying it, and she's born and raised out in the South and stuff, and she's even in Mississippi, it's like that's saying something a little bit. I mean, don't take my word for it. I mean, you know, she does streams too like this. She was doing one earlier, you know, before I started one. So, I mean, you know, maybe I'll share a stream with her one day to you, or at least, you know, share it, a dual stream on her channel because I want to do it on her channel at least, and then you know, pop in and maybe ask some questions about it. Because honestly, I mean, you would like her for sure, but also like, I mean, it might clear up a little certain things about the South, even if like ultimately it's like, hey, whatever, you know, it's a lost cause. I mean, she ain't gonna blame you, and I don't blame you either because I'm kind of the same way too. I just know that there's good people and good towns and cities and shit out there that exists where it's like, you know, it's not all lost cause, but it's like little lily pads in a really shitty, fucking, murky, polluted swamp. It's just unfortunately one of those things, you know. They got little vibrant, colorful frogs out there that exist that are just trying to thrive and survive and shit, you know. So, you know, just plopping around those lily pads or surviving off the little nutrients that surround it. What the fuck is going on? No. It just decided to. Did it go offline? It didn't, but it decided to be glitchy. Whatever. That makes sense. The helmet's back anyway. But at least, you know, smoke their bowl too.
I'm like, no. I'm like, hell no. You taking Plan B right now. I was like, I can't make you, but you turn out to like make that choice for me too. And that's just wrong, man. So she goes into the bathroom.
They don't even want me to like be on my account on YouTube now. It's just like fuck off. Oh, it's offline. Nah, wow, yeah. It says connect. Connect to the network. Third times.
She said, little Jamarcus, you killed little Jamarcus. Hope you know that.
Why she had a Jamarcus?
Just, yeah, Jamarcus, bro. Jamaican.
Bubba Clot.
Yeah, that is a bumbleclot of a name. Jamarcus.
Jamarcus. Bubba Clot. The bud. You got the thing. I don't know what walked into that, but nice. Fuck the fact that the Wi-Fi took a shit, so I can't use my YouTube Music playlist. At least I got the strength to keep going on now, but not gonna laugh too much longer.
Oh, shit.
Hey, Peter, why are you doing that? Why are you hurting yourself? Because you always were trying to, hurt me with your shenanigans, yeah. How many times have you destroyed my house and I fall out of my tub? Right on in front of the lawn. Going now, 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 now. Do a little Cleveland Brown. Oh, Vito. Yeah, you don't even want the treat? Really? Yeah, you want the real Unk to give you the treat. Oh my god, they're both right here. Just like, excuse me, bitch. Oh, there's 3 left. Oh, wait, what? There's like 3 left, but there's like a little baby one, so I'm gonna have to give one to the bestest of the beans.
One for the ladies, one for the men. One time for everyone else in between. You got to love them.
Hey, Vito. No, quit. Lay down. All the way down. Down here. Sit. Lay down.
I think these
Hey.
are your shorts that Brian gave you.
Those are indeed. Paul?
It's for
Wow, really? Okay. I'm trying to train these mutts. Yes, I am. Sit. Lay down. Lay down, Vito. Vito, lay down. Lay down. Stop. You savages. Lay down.
Savages.
Lay down.
Shit, the fucking.
Sukov was behaving way better than you two, you fucking. Alright, alright. Back up. Back the fuck
Thing
up.
always comes out. You ever had this happen?
Sukov was behaving way better than you two tonight. Sit.
Give me a.
Sorry.
Yeah.
They're just. Sukov was behaving way better than these bitches right now. Like, they're just.
Beat them up. Beat those dogs up.
Sit. No. Vito. Vito. Off.
Hit that.
Lay down. Lay down, Vito. 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 Lay down.
Fast, Jazzy.
Lay down.
There was a bike ride today, you said?
Yeah, I don't know what it was. Just
Jazzy.
Jazzy when I was dashing.
Big ass one?
Yeah,
Pop.
big ass one.
There was a big
Jazzy
Palestinian pro-Palestine protest.
I know,
Nice
he's
girl.
I saw that too. I saw everything.
Yeah, dude. That
Oh,
was
there was a
kinda get
Palestinian
approved.
protest you
Yeah,
told me
kinda get
about.
approved,
Yeah,
dude.
I had to go around and walk and stuff.
Yeah.
Woo! Oh, damn, Vito.
No,
Jesus.
I like that they're doing that. I hate
Like, I
that.
love protests, but then they're in our fucking way, bro.
Well,
Yep.
just gotta honk your
People
horn and be
working
like
and
solidarity,
We're both
baby.
working,
Just-
yeah.
Yeah, just wait for it, you know? Just gotta wait for
And dude,
it.
the bus was there for like 30 minutes. Like, that fucks hella people up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
People are trying to get to work. People are trying to get
Jess, you
home.
were a good girl. You get the extra one.
Yeah, it's kind of is
They don't
bullshit.
think about the common people like us. That's so dumb.
Well, the whole point.
That
No,
is the point.
no.
They're
Well,
thinking
hold
about
on. That
common
is the
people
point
like
because, like, the whole
we're standing
idea
up
of
for
the
those who can't
protest
stand
is
up for
that
themselves,
is to
I know,
is to
but-
bring attention to people, like, you know, on the streets and
About
stuff and the road.
basically 1 million people died, bro. And we're funding it.
And the world is starting to kind of like yawn at the whole thing, and it's like it needs to continue
Yeah,
to
no
be
one cares
persistent.
anymore
Yeah.
about the Palestinians, bro.
It's kind of fucking crazy.
It's been crazy for almost 2 years now, and people are getting.
It's been
bored.
crazy for like 60 plus
But how
fucking
do you get
years.
bored? How
This
do you
shit's
get
been going
bored
on
of
since-
genocide?
Yeah.
Like, how can you just?
Starving kids, and
I don't care.
you want to know what I
No,
learned
'cause people
too?
are selfish.
You want to know what I learned? Because of
Trump
how
too, yeah.
no
Trump
Biden,
trying to get
it's
fucking-
literally been
Biden was a part of it. Oh, they all
Reagan,
were.
but every
All of our
president,
Supports-
since the existence of Israel has
It's-
been in support and
supports them, dude.
unapologetically for the state of
And they
Israel.
buy our elections too, bro. The Jews, the pro-Zionist Jews, not the like just
The Israelis
normal- Yeah,
specifically,
the Israeli pro-Zionist Jews, not just normal American Jews.
Yeah.
Like
or just the diaspora.
bed-
Well,
in bed
we'll
with-
say it like this: the
Yeah,
Israelis,
yeah,
and then
yeah.
you have the Jewish diaspora.
yeah, the Israelis versus the Jews.
Because
They're
you
not
have like the
same
Yiddish
thing.
and like the
Politically not same
Ashkenazi
thing.
and of
Yeah.
others that are also very, you know, and also the ultra Orthodox Jews who are very anti-Zionist, and even ones that do, very few that do live in Israel, and like a lot, at least the ones that live in Israel tend to
The
either get
Zionists.
arrested or
The
beaten.
Zionists.
Yeah,
Because Zion is like the promised land that
Oh,
was
really?
promised to the Jews. That Jesus
because
would come and
God
get them.
anointed it,
It was
so to
the
speak.
promised land.
Yeah,
And
it's
American
called Zion.
Christians are very adamant and very supportive of it.
Of it, yeah.
Christians,
I used to,
nation-
hey, when I was growing up, I thought Israel was the shit. I had
So
no
did
idea.
I.
I had no
And
idea.
still I started learning about the politics of it. And even then, when I first learned about it, it's like, well, they just need to do better and they need to reform their shit. And then I realized, oh, that's just their history. Oh, they just are doing it worse and worse. Oh, now this is going on. It's just like, did this state really should
they have a right to exist?
Yeah, I'm like,
apparently Palestine doesn't.
And
But-
Palestine's been around for way longer historically, and everything else in between for longer than Israel has.
When you look up,
Israelites,
when I did
shit existed too, but it's
there was no Israel. There was the provinces of Palestine and
Judea, yeah,
and that they were broken
and
up.
the Canaanite
when
and
they
a few
were
other,
occupied by Rome,
Phoenicians,
and then eventually
yeah,
annexed
exactly,
by Rome.
yeah. It was multiple Semitic tribes, people,
Yes.
and Semitic ethnic
You had
groups.
Syria.
There's multiple.
Oh, yeah.
It's not
There's
just
all-
Jews who are
yeah.
Semitic people.
And the
You
Prince
have
of Persia.
Arab Palestinians who are also
Like
Semitic.
that was kind of going on at the time.
I mean, being a
Isn't
Semite,
Persia old Iraq or Iran or something?
Iran, yeah.
yeah.
It's called Persia. I think Persia's a way better. That's a cooler name. They should keep it. They
And
should
also,
take it
they
back
had a
to
really
Persia.
badass religion. That's pretty cool. Zoroastrianism.
Yeah.
It's a
that's
monotheistic
pretty cool.
religion, but it's a
They were
really
the
cool.
first monotheistic.
Yeah,
religion.
first OG.
before the
Before
Jews.
Christianity.
Ugh,
Goes
before
that
the
far
Jews.
back. Even before the Jews, yeah.
Because even the Jews originally weren't monotheists.
Well, because they took
They
it
had
from the
multiple-
war god Yah from Babylon.
Well, they had
Babylonian
Yahweh
war god
was a
Yah.
real god. He was a real
Yeah,
god, but
no,
he was
he-
different. He had different powers.
Guess I'll rip
And they
them
took,
Well-
no. I've done research on this. They took and blended the two.
Well, because a lot of it was
And-
inspiration from, because
Guess I'll rip it one
Judaism came after,
yeah.
the paganism of Babylonian and polytheism of that.
Babylonian.
But they took
Yes.
the God of War Yah as kind of like their
The
main
God of War.
Old Testament, and at least in the Judaic,
Well,
from
the Yahweh
Torah.
was already existing.
Hey, Vito.
And
Well,
then,
that will-
and that was their god. And
Well,
then what
because
they
well,
did is
yeah,
they took,
I mean those
they
two
took the
religions
characteristic-
existed in
they took-
time
they
together
kept Yahweh
for a while.
as the god
yeah.
name, but they
Well,
blended both characteristics of both those
because they
gods.
existed together for quite
Yes,
a while. Yeah.
alongside,
Yeah.
like city-states would
Yeah.
always have their own god.
Or like how different little local tribes will be like, I like your religion, but I'm doing this with this.
Like-
Kind of, it's
See, Gilgamesh was like at one point the god of Ur or some shit. He was like their local fucking city-state, and part of that, like we have a god, was they were trying to fight for supremacy over who would be the supreme city-state that would subjugate the others and make them vassals, basically, or client states. And so it wasn't just like from the beginning. Religion was kind of very political
yeah.
and very economically and geopolitically backed and like
Oh, yeah.
there's a lot going on there beyond just the religious aspect of it. So
Hate to derail, but Savon was asking, has anyone checked to see if there's any other shows happening in Chicago for potential double dipping?
ooh,
I can honestly,
good idea, Stepan.
I can actually text
Stefan's
Eric.
there. Hey, what's up?
I can actually text Eric Molina maybe, or I know a few connects where I could be like, hey, do you know if there's like shows, or even in Discords? Like, I think I might know some connects, especially in the punk/metal aspect of things, where I'm like, I could let me look into that. Actually, I could.
You guys got to find like an underground show.
Mm-hmm.
I know your ass could do that.
Yeah, like a local bar show, like here in Portland, kind of thing.
Yeah.
A little dive bar, and then there's like
or
a little.
even like a house show. Like while you're
Yeah.
there. That'd be crazy.
Yeah, I want to see if there
We'd
is.
have to not get
You have to
fucked
meet the
up.
right people. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
we'd have-
Well,
I'm sure you could at bars.
Well, the thing is, I mean, if I can just, figure out, like, where I could find something like that, and if it's just on, like, a day before or a day after, for
we
a
also
double dip.
don't know much about the town, and Chicago can get pretty violent. So I'm just.
We got to make sure that
We're out
it's
of town,
close.
we don't know what we're
Yeah,
doing.
we got to
we
also.
would be the target on our back.
Well,
Don't go to
also, the
don't
thing
go to
is.
the south side.
Well, I know
where
that.
all the
Well,
punk shows are, bro.
well, I will say this much: if I can find something that is decent,
Rap shows,
maybe
sure.
we can get
Yeah,
like,
all of it.
well,
I'll be
yeah,
down for all
anything,
of it. I'll
honestly.
be down for all of it.
Yeah,
I just
like-
don't want to get jumped after it.
Yeah, no shit. But
Yeah,
also, I
Chicago
could
seems
probably.
like a jumping
Well,
kind of
because of
city.
that, we could probably talk to someone at the local show, be like, hey, we just happen to have a hotel because we're out of town, we're double been after this show, and blah, blah, blah. Mind, carpooling us, at least near the hotel. You don't have to, like, get us, like, there,
Me
but...
and Stefan will have to like go to the bar before we leave and literally just plan
Well,
Like,
also
make
we
a
could
list
probably
of-
also
make a
talk.
list of shit.
We can also talk to some people while we're there, like while we're
Oh, yeah,
doing a bar
but-
hop a day before the show. Be like,
We need
hey,
to brainstorm as a collective.
oh, of course, yeah.
when-
Hence
when
why
y'all
I
going?
know some potential
August
sources.
31st.
August, okay, September.
So I
August.
know some potential sources on
So,
where
like,
I
the
could
third or the
probably
fourth.
maybe see if there could be a potential double dip. But let me look into it because I may or may not. If not, whatever. But I might. I can see who I can potentially reach out to. It's
I saw
possible.
a Vito clone yesterday.
A Vito.
Aw.
Vito looked just like a Vito at the river. It was
Same
amazing.
body?
Same everything.
Well, the markings.
Maybe slightly lighter. Maybe slightly lighter. like,
So his markings are really common with the brown eyebrows and the brown face with the brown socks.
and the brown socks. Yeah,
But-
the same. Maybe
Hmm.
same exact
Boy.
like patterns.
Look at
but
that
maybe
boy.
slightly lighter socks. But
Yeah.
same exact dog. It was crazy.
Yeah, it's
And his name. What the lady say? The dog's name was like.
Oh, it's a happy boy.
Fuck. What was it?
Bingo.
Yeah, Dingo. That's a
I'm
good
hearing
name.
s-
No, it was a
Dingo,
basic.
baby.
It was a basic ass name. It wasn't that cool.
Max.
That's why I'm forgetting.
It's a generic dog name.
Max from Grinch. The dog
Yeah.
from Grinch. Max.
beer. Get back here.
So, but yeah, I've noticed met a lot of dogs that look similar enough to him with the face and the.
Yeah, especially the
coat.
shepherds. I've noticed.
Yeah.
I'll be like, oh, you kind of look like a little Zuzu or Vito.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
I see a lot of dogs that look like Jazzy, honestly.
Oh, same here. I'm
But
just like, oh, that
there'll
looks
be
like a little
different
Jazzy
sizes of
clone.
Jazzy,
Yeah. Different little like body shapes of
Or
Jazz.
they'll have all the same features as Jazzy, but just longer hair. Be like the same size and everything.
Your feet, you're just sprawled out, just
There's
like
a lot
I
of
embrace
dog
this.
mutts out there that people don't realize.
Because we just genetically made them to be sweet little mutts. That's why the weird rich people want like these purebred.
I
Dogs
know,
that
dude. Why would
suffer.
you spend
I
thousands
know.
of dollars on a dog that's going to die earlier?
And-
I know, but I
And
know,
they're
I
ugly
hate
A lot
that.
of times, yeah.
I hate
Mutts
those
are the
things.
best dogs. Because look at this happy boy who's just so healthy and sweet. Oh, mama, he's just a mutt.
Mutts are
super
healthier,
mutt.
They live
You're
longer.
just a super mutt. All
they
of the
have
dogs
more,
are super mutts.
Genetic variation.
You, Jazzy,
Yeah,
they
you
get less
are just
diseases.
super mutts.
They get the best
They
of
got all
all
the
the different
genetics.
dog,
Oh
genes.
yeah.
Humans are the
I
same.
do.
We're the same
Yeah.
like the royal family.
I love
They're
yeah.
all
they're fun.
interbred.
Yeah, it's a-
They
yeah,
all have all
yeah.
the diseases
They're
and shit.
inbred, yeah.
Why would you do that for your dog?
You know,
Inbreed
old
your
school
dog.
pugs actually used to
Create
have a little
purebred
bigger
dog.
snouts in comparison to modern pugs because of that pure breeding
Yeah, it's
bullshit.
dumb. And they could have breathed.
You know,
fine. They
and
could
that's
have
And
sad
they look
because-
fucking stupid. They don't even look cute.
I like pugs.
I like a pug.
Yeah.
I mean, they're so ugly they're cute. You know what I mean?
no,
Like,
what? No.
I have a soft spot for small dogs because my mom used to have small dogs, and
or
I,
like a French bulldog or a
Yeah.
French terrier.
well,
Yeah,
if
see,
you
not my
actually
style.
look into
They're
like-
well, if
they
you look
look
into
similar to
history of the
hippos.
dog
They
breeds,
all
like
kinda look
those
similar.
breeds were actually
Pit bulls are cute sometimes.
oh well, they got a little pit in them, a little
Yeah.
bit.
Well, Vito's got that thick ass.
Yeah. But also, like, I mean, if you look in
Snout.
history, like, with a lot of these breeds, especially the ones that are notorious for, like, these inbreeding, bullshit, like, the old
German
school
Shepherd,
breed.
for example.
Yeah, that's another example, yeah. But there's because, I mean, a lot of breeds, unfortunately, suffer with it. But the ones that are really notorious, especially smaller dogs, like, they actually looked
It's
healthier and
illegal.
better
Yeah, it's illegal
And-
to breed a pug with another pug now.
because they need at least a little bit of that
Or like a
diversity.
safety.
It's a
But
animal
also-
rights violation.
Yeah, but
What?
also,
Animal
like,
rights violation.
you can't.
well,
do it.
my
You-
point.
what
Well,
they
hold
do
on. Let
now
me.
is they-
Well, Logan, let me finish my point real quick. Because like the point being, what I was saying is like they were healthier and actually looked better genetically. Because
Beforehand,
like
yeah.
pugs actually had longer snouts and
they
like
can breathe
bulldogs.
better, yeah.
Because bulldogs, French bulldogs especially,
We get
you
that
have to do
recessive, shitty
C-sections.
trait.
You have to do cesarean to have them give birth. They can't actually give birth because their heads are so fucking
That's
huge
crazy.
that like legit their vaginas will literally like tear and rip
then
apart
they'll bleed
and
to
they will
death.
die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Like
no,
they
this
have
is-
to have a C-section.
Hey,
That was finished anyway. Hey, whatever. Well,
I want the
thank
cold
you,
one, dog.
good
I
sir.
want the cold one.
Thank you, good sir.
What the fresh cold one?
yeah, I like.
Well,
Man, I like
That's cool.
corgis, and corgis get fucked up by what's it
hip
called?
dysplasia.
Yeah.
'Cause they
No,
have
but
tiny
like
feet.
by
tiny
breeding,
legs.
corgis get fucked
Oh
by
yeah,
breeding too.
by bad genetics.
That's why you gotta like have corgis with other
They have to be-
corgis,
I
like
think they have to
Australian
be made,
corgis
like, I
with
think
like
they're
border
man-made
collie
dogs.
corgis, and
Like, they have
stuff.
to be bred a certain way. I don't think corgis are natural.
Well, also especially because they have like really thick, floofy butts for some reason. Like, because I'm sorry, they do like because honestly, if you look at them, they really have like a lot of it's just fluff. I mean, a lot of it really is, but genetically, it's
I
because of
know.
how they are
I'm
designed.
not
Like, because
I mean, yeah. I'm
they're-
not staring at their asses all day, but I know.
I'm not either. I'm not either. I'm just saying,
I
like,
know.
if you actually look
No,
at a
they just have the
corgi and their
cutest-
body, you
I think
realize
it's
like
'cause
they're
the legs are short. That's why they're cute.
yeah,
And the
they got
face,
short, but
they
then
got,
their
like-
thighs, and then like their
Cute dogs.
upper,
Good
like
looking dog.
the equivalent of their like upper.
So if I had to get a little dog, I'd get a wiener or a corgi for sure.
Yeah,
Corgis are bigger.
I want to get like a
They're
Pomsky
good
or
30
something, like
pounds.
a mixed
Yeah.
breed,
Whereas the
small
wiener
dog.
is like
It's like
6
10
pounds.
pounds, yeah, most.
Well, you want it-
Tara has
I
a
would
wiener
say-
dog, and I love it.
10
so
Well, I
it's
would
like,
say if you
making
get
him
a
want a
small
wiener
dog, get a mixed breed one for sure. Because
He's such a good
the
boy.
ones that my mom had
You
were
could get
They're yappers,
Pomsky.
though.
My dogs are half. They're not half. They're like
Mm.
8% wiener dog.
Mm.
You know, wiener dogs are good.
They
Dogs.
got wiener dog in them.
You didn't know that? The Dachshund.
Oh, that's oh,
Dachshund is
Those
wiener
sound,
dog.
yeah.
that's ones.
Yeah, they're a wiener dog. I wouldn't want a dog that small. I would need a dog at least 20.
Yeah.
Like I could do
Yeah,
like
my dream dog is a golden retriever for sure.
you could get like a
That's expensive.
Beware.
What?
Get a
Just get a-
friendly one
get-
because
get
I
a-
got
get a
starved for
mutt.
one.
get a mutt, get a half golden retriever, half whatever, and they still look like a retriever.
Saint
They
Bernard,
still act like
a
it.
Saint Bernard
Yeah.
retriever mix.
Whoa,
imagine-
that's too big.
Well, yeah. I
Imagine
don't
the
need a
size of that
purebred
big
golden, I just want a
boy.
golden. They're my favorite dog. Shout out to Airbud.
Yeah. Those
Hey,
are
my
good
brother
dogs.
has-
Only because of Airbud.
Hey, my brother has
Maybe
a
one.
big golden retriever.
They're
He
good dogs.
does.
Yeah,
Oh,
Cooper.
nice. I gotta meet
Cooper's
your
his
brother.
name.
Well, maybe I want to meet.
Well-
Cooper's mean.
A little bit because I mean
Ripped
I don't know
his
if you can
finger
see
off
my
almost.
middle finger, but there's a little scar because of him with
Because
his
of a
main
golden
canine.
retriever. Oh, but they're usually nice.
Well, the thing is,
They're one of the nicer dogs.
if you actually look
Used
into
to
them,
be, yeah.
well, like golden retrievers can either
good
be the
family
most
dogs.
nicest dogs, but
Yeah.
also
They
if
can
they
be
want to be
vicious.
aggressive, they will unleash
can be.
all that aggression.
Yeah.
Like
You
at
ever seen a
once.
golden retriever go from nice happy face to
to
like
just like
demon?
mean and mad?
They're
Yeah,
showing
but,
all the teeth like a Doberman, bro.
yeah, but that's
like,
like
those. Their
Dude,
lips
when this
somehow
happened
come
to
on-
me,
their
like
lips
that dog literally was
are
one
gone.
to
It's just
shred
all
my
teeth
hand
and
and like
gum.
try to rip
Wow.
apart of my
So
like
he
that
was
dog.
pissed? Like the dog. Was
I had
pissed.
I hate to do it, but I had to like punch that dog right
get
on the
off of me,
side
bro.
of the
Get off
fucking
of me.
face and the jaw,
Yeah.
That's
and then
tough.
let
German
go.
Shepherd dog.
Because all I
Bit
was,
me right here. I got
and you
Yeah,
wanna know-
German shepherds are aggressive too.
and you know what I was trying to do? All I was
Too
trying to do
much,
is
dog,
just
right
get a
here.
ball out of his mouth. Be like, hey,
Dog would
I was
not
just
go.
fetching a ball with him.
dog.
Damn, so it just
I had to
depends on the
knock-
dog.
I had to
man.
knock my friend's dog
And I
out,
li-
dog, because he
and I
wouldn't
literally-
fucking let go.
Sucks,
I had to
sucks.
and then fucking like got that dog, knocked me, fucking dog, knocked the fuck out.
And the second
Because
time,
the owner wasn't doing it. He's like, I'm like, get your dog off of me.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
They're not
bad
doing
ownership when
anything.
And
the
the
owner
thing
doesn't
is,
know
that
what
was
to
the
they're
do.
not
first-
doing anything.
That's
Yeah.
bad.
and the thing is, that
They
was
shouldn't have
that
dogs
was
at
the
that
first
point.
time
That
it
dog got
happened.
put down eventually.
Yeah.
I mean,
It happened to like 10 other people apparently.
happened to
It
my
wasn't
ex
just me.
too.
Yeah, at a
A
certain
dog bit
point,
her
I
dog
hate
and got
to
put down.
say, but yeah, at a certain point, if your dog
At
is
a
so
dog park,
aggressive
like,
like
don't bring that
that
dog to the
and
dog
it's
park.
not
Yeah.
redeemable, you gotta unfortunately have to put it down. Like it's just too
So it's
aggressive.
just luck of the draw. So hopefully I get a good
It's
goal.
not. You,
Well, I mean, the thing is,
you
that
can
dog
go
is
also train
friendly
them.
and a
Of course, train
goofball.
them.
well, you go
You train them
to
when they're
you
young.
go find them when they're little.
Yeah.
You hang out with all the little pups. You find the one that seems to work best with you,
Mhm.
and then you take them home and you train them, and they
Yeah.
mold to the tribe they're with. A lot of times, they figure out how you live, and then start to-
Exactly.
Yeah.
And since I'm such a chill guy, except when playing 2K, I
What you gotta do is make sure that they.
I just
hang
won't
out
play
with-
2K in front of the dog.
Well, you gotta socialize them with humans,
Mhm.
kids, and dogs, so that they know everything is good. And
Yeah, for sure.
And that's
family
kind of why my
retrievers
cat's
are
like a
nicer.
cat dog because he's been
Because
around
they have
cats
to be
and
around
people like
babies
me
and
who are
shit.
just like chill as fuck.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
why family dogs are so nice, like the
Yep.
retriever family dogs. Yeah.
Well, there's all
It's-
kinds of dogs that are just great family
Well, they all
dogs.
have different
Labs are
personalities.
great
You just have to
family
find a
dogs,
dog
too.
that has the right
Labrador-
personality.
The Labradors
Yeah,
used
Labs
to be
are one of the
Black
best.
Lab used to be the America's #1 dog. Before that was Golden Retriever.
Mhm.
Then now it currently is French Terriers.
Yeah, they really changed.
Everybody loves French Terriers now.
I think they're ugly, but hey, I see the appeal, I guess.
What's the
They're-
first?
my dad, my grandpa, when he was
Yeah, I
a
want to
cop,
look it up actually.
Yeah.
But yeah, look up French Terrier. They
Yeah,
have
I'll-
weird faces.
he had 2 of them,
Mm.
and he was a motorcycle cop, a
Mm.
sheriff,
Moto cop.
and it was such a small county. He was like one of 2 sheriffs. That was it.
He was probably so well known.
Yeah, and so he would ride on his motorcycle around the county
It's the bone.
with his
Logan,
dogs
bro, your phone.
in a crate.
That's
He had a
crazy.
crate on the back, and his dogs would ride around the crate, and when he go around curves, they go, "Arr,
That's
arr."
crazy.
They would grab on tight, and they go,
Oh my
"Arr."
god.
Yeah.
You could not get away with that these days. That's some old school shit.
Oh, French bulldog or
Yeah,
French terrier. Yeah.
Terrier.
I mean, they're cute.
I think they're awesome dogs. They always,
I mean, no, I don't know.
You're pretty hesitant there. Let me see.
I mean, they're cute.
they're like
Wait, hold
20
on.
pound dogs.
Hold on, I'm just
Yeah.
trying to get a full
They have a
image.
weird
Isn't that like the
face.
Target mascot or some shit?
No,
French
no,
Terrier? Am I
that's
thinking of
a
something
whole
weird.
different dog.
That's a weird looking dog.
Let me look at the
I'm
French
not gonna lie.
Terrier.
It's a smaller dog, but
Oh, LB has one. Yeah, they're pretty average.
I mean, they're
average.
cute.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen them. No,
Nothing-
they're adorable,
they're
and
flat.
usually they tend to be friendly. Either that,
they're
or
nothing special.
it's either
It's
they're
just a
very
dog.
friendly or
They
they're
are
very
special
yappy.
because they're an
You know, I
in between
mean
size.
personally.
They're an in between size.
Yeah.
Well, also, I mean, at least
They're
in my
not a small
experience,
dog, but they're not.
well,
huge
in my
either.
experience, they're either the
They're
most
20,
friendliest little
25
things in the
pounds.
world,
Yeah.
or they're the most yappiest little things where they're like, I don't know how I feel about you, but I want to fight you. I don't
That's
know.
the problem with
Eh,
wieners
yeah,
too.
yeah.
Wieners will yap because
It's the
bro
breed.
yells whenever I come over. He yells, but he loves me, so it's like happy yells, I guess.
Well, he's like,
Vito.
oh my god, yeah, it's like a Vito. It's like,
just
friend, come
he's just
back,
a mini
up.
Vito for real.
Yeah.
just a mini ass Vito. But then he's quiet the most of the time.
I wouldn't
Just when
want.
someone
I wouldn't
comes
want a
to-
dog that small. I feel like I couldn't. No, not like. Don't
Yeah, I
don't
want,
think this is weird. Just like it's too small. I think I'd accidentally hurt the dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'd roll over.
and honestly, Zukov
you
is
know
like,
what I mean? The dog's just there, and
yeah.
I just.
I
lay
mean,
on
honestly,
it.
for
Yeah.
me, Zukov is like the smallest I would want for a dog myself personally, because he's still already kind of a little, well, maybe Jazzy, like he no smaller than a
Jazzy's
Jazzy.
bigger than Zukov.
Well,
She
yeah,
weighs more than him.
well, yeah. I mean, but I
He's
mean,
longer.
Zukov is like
He's
a little
taller.
yeah.
A little longer.
I mean, yeah, because he's a little taller, longer, and kind of in between. You know,
Vito and Jazz.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he's kind of like a medium in between.
I
You
feel
know,
like
the
Golden's
sizes.
around Vito's
But,
size,
you
maybe
know,
a little bit
yeah.
They're
bigger.
bigger.
Maybe a little
They're-
bigger.
They're like 70, 80.
Oh,
They're pretty.
Vito,
They're
Vito.
fucking furry.
They can
too,
get
that's
to.
what it
They
is.
can get to 100
They're
pounds.
fucking fluffy, man.
Vito's biggest sibling's like 70, maybe
Oh,
80
that's
pounds.
pretty cool.
Like and
You know, what
Vito's
I would love to have is just a
Vito's
big
like
old floofy Malamute.
60.
It'd be
He was 58 last time I weighed him, but that was like a long time ago. He probably weighs more now. But then
Look at that tail.
they gained
This
weight
little
over the
baton.
winter, and then I put them on that diet food,
Yeah.
and I've been working on it, and they look like they lost
Beater,
weight. So
beater.
I don't know how much they weigh now.
Beater.
Yeah, Jazzy was looking real thick. a
Yeah,
few
now
months
I
ago.
know,
now
yeah,
it's-
she was
look
a
at her.
big old
thinned out,
chunk.
yeah.
She's a muscle chunk now.
Yeah,
She went
looked
from
better.
fat chunk to muscle chunk.
Mm-hmm.
Muscle chunk.
All that chunk.
You guys are so good.
Little jazz.
I hope my dog's like you someday.
Little chunk.
Whenever I get one.
Jazzy up.
It'll be years though.
Jazzy.
Yeah, probably when
Jazzy.
you and Kara, if you ever move in together.
Oh yeah,
Oh.
that's what. Yeah, that's probably what would happen if we get a golden together. That's probably
Yeah,
the move.
yeah, move.
Oh my goodness.
That would be the move.
Imagine a
If
little
we,
kid
Wait,
get
back.
back,
wait,
if we
till-
stick together.
Imagine
Wait till
the kid
she's
back-
like out of school and she got her
Oh yeah, I'm not
career
rushing
and
to get a
stuff figured
dog.
out. Well,
Oh,
no,
yeah.
I mean,
I
like,
don't.
you guys
yeah.
don't have to.
I
live
never
together,
did
right?
up
Just
until
you know.
Logan was
Sounds like
like, yo.
traveling.
I would let her just finish school before y'all get
Yeah,
together. Like
and I
that.
want to travel while I'm young, so maybe
Yeah.
get dogs.
Well, you never know. There was, you know, like, I was
You
kind
can
of
road
thinking the
trip,
same thing.
travel
I
with your
know,
dog.
Oh, you can,
but
yeah.
I can't do the 12 days in Sweden shit if I have a dog.
You know, you could. You just have to have
I
friends.
did. Well, I mean, it's
You gotta have
possible.
friends.
I've done
that-
Yeah, you
trips.
gotta
Yeah,
have
12
friends to
days.
watch.
12 days.
But
is-
12 days is
that's
a lot.
a little
yeah, think
excessive,
about it.
yeah. I mean,
A week is the
It's hard to
worst.
find friends that watch your dog for 12 days. You gotta pay them good money. Like it's that whole thing, dude.
well, hey, if your friends are
You
cool
gotta get a
enough, they'll
dog
just do it
sitter.
for free.
For 12 days. Well, yeah, but a good.
I will
Well,
say
like-
this: like,
I
let's
mean,
say, let's say you have a
friends
12
don't
day
have that much
trip
free
somewhere to
time.
Portugal or whatever. I'll be
12
like
days is so much.
I would have
No
to.
one has that much.
I would
free
have
time.
to like.
multiple
to have a
friends,
friend
but
like
I will
me
be like,
who has
hey,
a
in
dog
between
that's
my
friends with
work
your
hours
dog.
or my days off,
Exactly.
I don't
And then
mind,
the
you know,
dogs
being at
can
your
just
pad,
hang out
hanging
at
out.
home
and-
together.
Yeah.
You know, so they're not bored. They got
Yeah,
each other to
exactly.
hang out with.
Yeah,
while I'm
walking
at work.
dogs, you know,
and then I
just
get
be
back
with
and I
them,
take
yeah.
care of the dogs
Yeah,
when I'm not
for real.
working. But yeah, that's
Yeah.
it. It's not that bad,
Or
especially
even
if you
have
have
like
a
a friend
friend.
spend a night or something, you know, be like, hey, I'll go to work, just go back to your pad, you know, and spend that kind of thing for
Yeah,
a few
for real.
days.
Yeah, they'd have,
Have
to
like
stay
a
out-
rotation, you know.
That's what I would do. Yeah, have them stay out the house. Exactly.
Yeah, because
If I had a
obviously you
dog,
want to
yeah.
make sure.
House sit.
Yeah.
Yeah, house sit the dog and the.
Because when I
Probably
was
the
in
pussy if
Iceland, I think I was just before I had Zukov, but I've also had different trips like to Texas and a few other places, you know, and stuff too. You know, after that, and it's like as long as, and I had those people that could take care of him then. But it's like,
Mm.
even then, it's like, I mean, as long as they at least have enough friends or at least enough people that are like, hey, I can at least check on them for like a day.
Well, you
You
left
know.
it. Well, you left him with your dad at least, or right now, currently.
Well, at least the
with
last
your
time
dad.
I was out of state, was I think when I was in Texas for a little bit, at least for a long period of time, for like a week, and that was when it was my dad. But also, I did ask, I think Logan, also Tyler, and I think Harley too. At least those three, because I know there were more of the media access to be like, hey, just
Yeah.
communicate with each other, just be like once a day, just check on them and stuff, because I don't know if it's my dad, because
Yeah.
I mean, even then. I was not
Well, your
100%
dad's
sure,
not
but
gonna go get food or water for him at this point.
well, I'm
You're gonna have to
fucking.
do
He's probably
that.
not even getting food and water for himself.
I
Oh
mean,
shit!
I won't get into too much right now because I can go so far into it. Like, at least not just for the swing factor, but like, oh my god! If you all want to know how he really quote thinks about this fucking situation, you all
your
be mind
grandpa?
blown. Well, not just him, but
Oh,
no,
your
of
dad?
how my
Your dad's an idiot
well.
and an asshole.
You
And
know,
a
here,
drunk.
I-
And a drunk.
I
And a
know.
drunk.
Well, hey, actually, I want to actually kind of get into it, but I'll smoke the suspect and call over the stream. And well, let's get into this because actually, I kind of
What's
want
your
to.
dad say?
Well, hold on, give me a sec.
Okay. I like that shit up.
Gotta light up.
You know, these guys are the opener in Chicago.
And a little wrap up on the stream, and then we'll get into it. But two little buckaroos.